Orange tea.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Sam.
And this is the Board Game Rundown. Today, we're going to do our top 10 games that I want expansions for. So I hope you guys picked the ones that I want expansions for.
Oh, I picked one that I wanted expansions for.
I totally misread that title. I thought it was our. So it's your thing
Yeah,
that you want.
yeah, I want
So we're
expansions.
guessing what you want.
Yeah, I want expansions for. Not guessing, you should know.
I'm guessing it's going to start with DC Deck Builder.
Yeah.
What? I've got expansions
You
for
do.
that. I've got expansions
Well,
for it.
that brings up an interesting thing for this topic because the only like sentence I got right was games you want expansions for. Right, so that can be taken a couple ways, right? That can be taken as in games that don't have expansions, and I want an expansion for it, or it could be this game has a bunch of expansions, I don't own them yet, and I want the expansions.
Oh,
for it.
sure.
Right? It could be taken both ways. Most of mine are the hypothetical, either I don't know of an expansion, or
Right.
there are none, and I would like some. There are a couple of like, man, I really want this expansion, I don't have it yet. Sure. You know.
So some of mine are like, there's a few that they have expansions, but they're older games.
Sure.
And I want
A new expansion.
more content
Right.
for them. But I left off things like Marvel Legendary, right? Where there's
bunch
or
of expansions.
DC Deck
Yeah,
Builder.
but they
there's
don't have
a
my
million.
favorite superhero that came out in
Yeah, they don't-
17. What?
But I really feel like people should be like expanding their knowledge on us by liking, clicking,
Oh
subscribing,
my God.
ringing the bell, watching Whiskey Wednesdays, right? Joining the Discord, all
Right.
those fun things.
That's what I did. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's
and
why you're here and don't you forget it.
Yeah, sorry.
well,
You're right, Dan.
it's going to be a running thing. No, we are very lucky today to have Sam Stockton from BA Games here. He is going to have a Kickstarter coming soon. Well, unless you watch this in the future, then it already happened and was super successful. It was really amazing.
It was really good. Good
And
job.
that's Forges of Ravenshire. It made
We're
$7
manifesting
billion.
it.
It was
So what was that record-breaking Kickstarter like for you?
yeah. And why do you hate Kingdom Death Monster so
Yeah.
much?
I did not sign up for this. Is that what I saw in the paper?
This
Yeah,
is
that's what that was.
I forgot. Secret title: Top 10 Ways to Ambush Sam while he's here on the show. No, so Sam's here. We let him pick the topic,
Yep.
and this was the one he gave us, which is actually a good one. I don't think we've ever done this one before.
I don't think
have
so
we?
either. We
No,
should have a
I
couple
don't think
topic
so.
ideas more often.
We've definitely talked about hypothetical expansions. We've
Sure.
never done like a top
In a
list. Yeah.
Yeah.
This makes it legit now.
It does.
I'm
So-
also going to point out too, because I'll get called out for this for sure. I didn't do a bunch of research for this one, as in like I want an expansion for this game. It might have one that I've never heard of before. I'm not sure.
Didn't bother
right,
looking
but I
into it.
want an expansion for this game. So.
Okay. That's fair.
No, I don't think that. I think that if you don't have it or you didn't know about it, well, then people can comment. and let
Yeah,
us know,
100%. It's just
right?
that usually I spend like a
Yeah.
week researching crap and I have answers for things. And this week I'm just like, dude, I want an expansion for this game.
Well,
like it's just very chill.
Not
this
only
week.
do I not know if this expansion exists, I don't know what I want it to do.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of
I
those
just want
too.
something.
I just want more
Just give me
content.
some-
I have
just give
some
me
of that,
more.
yeah. Where I'm just like, I am not as clever as the game designer.
Right.
They'll come up with something.
Yeah, Sam,
Better than what I could have.
you're a game designer. Create expansions.
So
to
I'll
these-
create expansions for all the games listed
There
on
we
here.
go.
Oh, do it.
You
I'm
heard it here
sure I
first,
would
folks.
be
You know what's,
murdered in my sleep.
you know what's
Sure.
not in here? Call to the Deep, because it's just a perfect. It's
a perfect game,
fine
didn't need
on
an
its
expansion.
own.
Really? Because I had it 10 times. Because it's all Tim wants.
Sell out.
That's right. More expansions. More expansions.
Okay, so we're gonna start with Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just go down the line.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have to finish like Spencer. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get used to it.
Yeah, not only did we kick Spencer out, bring Sam in, upgrade it that way, but we also moved Dan
Yeah.
down.
Downgraded Dan,
And
which is like
also,
an upgrade.
Yeah, which is an upgrade.
I feel bad for Spencer because I like Spencer.
Well, we all like Spencer over there. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
He doesn't watch when he's not on. I don't know if he
That's
watches
true.
when
He doesn't watch when he is on.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Spencer's also an
best time to
undetected
throw him
serial
under
killer.
the-
We can say anything. It doesn't matter.
Wait, what was that? Number 10.
So number 10. So this one, number 10, War of Whispers for me.
Okay.
Dude, I almost wrote this down.
Yeah, and like it could be as simple as like just take those because each country has its own like little deck of cards
decks.
that are extremely similar.
Yeah.
And just switch those up a little bit, right? And that'd be an easy expansion that they could do to this without having to overhaul the whole
Yeah, I
thing.
don't even know, like, would that count as an expansion? Or,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I'm
an
just saying, like,
expansion?
it's like a little card pack.
It's a card pack expansion.
No, I know it is.
Yeah,
but I'm
it
just saying,
expands the
like,
game.
would they call it something else, like an add-on or something? You know, like, hey, get this little card pack, you know?
Well,
Yeah.
there's not asymmetric player powers in that, right? That'd be a great module or an expansion to
Yeah.
add.
That's true.
Yeah, Bob, asymmetric player powers.
I love them.
Yeah, Bob never talks about those.
See, Sam's never played War of Whispers because it doesn't have dual layer player boards.
I'm
just kidding.
That's understandable. It doesn't
I
have a
actually
round,
have not played it.
I was gonna say, I don't.
Not for that reason.
I'm just
it's got
making
a
stuff up.
round board though, so that's like the other
It
redeeming
is
quality.
a
that it's
really
got.
good game.
Yeah,
I like
it's-
round boards.
It's really good.
It's almost
really
like, it's like a territory control, but you don't really play one country. You're playing like whispers. It's almost like Benny Gesserit the game, right? So you're like whispering to these leaders, trying to get them to do different things.
You're Littlefinger, you know.
Yeah.
You are in Game of Thrones.
Because you're more like in the
manipulating.
background.
Correct.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
each player is
advisors.
trying to slowly change what all the
Countries are
countries are
doing.
doing.
Right.
Right.
Like I need this country to finish first,
Right.
and this country to finish last.
Because at the start of the game, like you have like flags that represent each one, and you randomly mix them up, and then you put them down in the like +4 for cities, +2 for cities, +0, -2, -4. So depending on how much control all these different people have, then you'll earn or lose points accordingly.
Yeah, it's really
So,
good.
yeah, you
It's
gotta
really
try to
good.
influence.
It's
I've
so
heard
much
a lot
fun.
of good things about it, and I
Starling-
really want to play it.
Yeah.
Someday.
Starling Games, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
You're welcome. I'm good like that.
Yeah, well.
All right. My number 10 is a classic. It is an evergreen game, and there is an expansion for it, but they can do more.
Oh, whatever.
They could do more. Lords of Waterdeep. I want another expansion for Lords of Waterdeep. I love
Could they
Lords of
make one
Waterdeep.
and make it good? I don't know.
Wow.
Hush,
No, I
hush your
know.
filthy mouth.
I'm genuinely surprised this game didn't have another one because like
Yeah.
it's a beloved evergreen. It's also accept it, Bob. Right? I get it. I like Champions more too, but it's an evergreen. It just is.
It's a good standard.
Yeah, it is, and the expansion is really cool.
Yeah,
So
it-
I'm kind of surprised that it didn't get more traction there.
Yeah, I don't know what happened if they just like lost interest in
That's true, just moved
building
on
on
to the
that
next
game,
project,
if they
yeah.
didn't have the IP anymore or what. But anyways,
They changed their open gaming license.
it was
so-
yeah, right.
Ooh,
Yeah.
too soon?
Yeah.
Too soon?
Never too soon. Now they want to get back in good with me. They
Right.
need to.
There
now
you
they
go.
need to do it. Yeah.
Release it for free.
Wait, well, settle down. They're in business.
Bob's like, give me everything.
Yeah.
All of it. A little bit of everything
now.
all at once.
But yeah, I don't know what I want them to do with it, but I just want a Lords of Waterdeep expansion so I can get that game back to the table.
Sure.
Play it some more.
What's your favorite expansion on that one? Like, which one do you like?
Oh, I
Skullports
really
and
like the
Scoundrels.
Skullport.
The Skullport was
Yeah,
my
the
favorite, too.
corruption. Like it just ramps things up.
I
you know,
love
and then-
like hurting myself just to get all the good stuff. Play Black and Magic. Don't worry about it.
Right. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Yeah. No, that's my favorite one, but I just put them both in because why not? I'm lazy and I
You're
don't want
both
to sort
good.
them. So, but yeah, if I had to pick one, it would be the Scoundrels of Skullport or whatever it's called. But yeah, that's what I want. That's my number 10.
All right. My number 10. This feels kind of surreal being here. I'm like, oh, I'm watching these guys on TV.
With all your heroes, right? Now you're here.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
It's weird because I can actually take my laptop and put it in my TV so I watch you guys on TV.
Oh, see,
Oh,
now you
nice.
can like your kids and be like, hey, look, I did a thing.
I did a thing.
I did a thing. So mine on number 10 is it has an expansion, but I wish it was more widely available.
Okay.
Okay.
So my name is Manhattan Project Energy Empire
Okay.
by Luke Laurie. And I want my hands on it because they did the Kickstarter. Understandably, it took a long time because of certain issues. And so I really want that expansion plus more because I love that game.
I've heard really good things. I've actually never played any of the Manhattan Project.
Me neither.
Me either.
So,
Wow.
so there's like two different kinds. Like you have the Manhattan projects, and you have like the Energy Empire,
Right.
which is like a
That's what I'm
complete,
saying. I
like, it's like
haven't
a
played
completely
either.
different game in
Yeah.
some ways. Actually, no, like almost every way, except for some of the mechanics stuff. But like the way they go around it and use it, it's different, and I really love that game. It's so good.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool. Got to play it someday. It's so well known.
Yeah, it's one of those where
Especially Energy Empire. Like I know, I think it's Z Garcia from Dice Tower talks about Energy Empire.
oh, I thought you were gonna
It's
say
so-
Z-Man Games.
It's like, I hope not. They don't in the world. I was kidding. No, so that one I really like to get a hold of the expansion, check it out, and then probably after playing it a few times, be like, I want more.
Give me more. Yeah.
Is what my assumption will be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Okay, my number 10 is a game that if you told me had an expansion, I would not be surprised, but I have never seen anything for it, and that's Korra: Rise of an Empire.
Nice.
This game is fantastic.
Yes.
Not an expansion for it that I know of.
no,
I didn't think
not
so.
that I
But
know.
like,
It's-
if you told me there was, I'd be like, oh, okay, it makes sense because
Right.
it's really well received, kind of unknown, but
Yeah.
but well received, and by a publishing company and everything that like you trust them and
Yeah,
everything.
they've
You know,
made games.
Yeah. And it's like a civilization Euro game.
Almost like a city builder.
Yeah,
but
kind
But
of
not really
very
building it.
abstracted.
Yeah.
But and it has the action mechanic of like you basically have a bunch of tiles and then you have dice that have numbers and you assign your dice to the tile. Like I want to take a production action this turn, so my die needs to be at least the number that the tile's worth. But you can then spend citizens to up, right? So if this tile needs a 4 and I only have a 2, I can spend 2 citizens to turn
Upgrade
that
it.
2
So you're not
into
just
a
stuck
4.
with your crappy roll.
Right.
You can adjust it.
And you're just upgrading your economy and your military and stuff like this. And it is a really impressive game, and I feel like it would be so easy to add on.
Yeah,
to this
it'd be
game.
like a couple extra civilizations. Or
Well, yeah,
something like
that's
that.
the easiest route, of
Yeah,
course. Extra
yeah.
civilization would be so easy, but like somehow taking this whole military explore
bit more
action
with
and just
that.
like stretching it out to a bit of a deeper thing. There are going to be chances for this game. I
hope
just
so.
really
I don't
doubt there
know.
aren't.
I don't know. Not that it's not worthy, but it feels like that this game, and I haven't played it, but everybody that I know has played it really loves this game.
Yeah.
And this is one of those games that nobody knows about. So the problem is if it's not a popular game or if there's not somebody in that company that's like really its champion,
Sure.
you know, and pushing it. I mean, it could just like fall off to the side
It
and
could.
just kind of be a footnote in
Here
that
I
game
am
catalog.
pushing it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
know,
It's great.
Play
Yeah.
Korra. It's fantastic.
Great game.
And I really would like to see
Is
some
it
stuff.
Elio games?
Yeah, yellow.
Oh God,
Yeah.
it's yellow games, Bob.
it's
I
yellow.
know you're colorblind, but it's yellow. It's yellow games.
Yeah, well, the word is a color, so you
is.
just
Can't
just
see
can't
it.
do it.
It's like it's invisible.
That's right.
So that's my number 10,
Yeah.
Korra, Rise of an Empire, I believe
Yep,
is what the
it
whole
is.
name.
Good pick. Yeah. All right, so that brings us to number 9. So my number 9, this is one of the ones that I've got that I don't know what they could do with it, but I really enjoy this game, and I wish it would come back into relevancy. Fire and Axe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's kind of like a pickup delivery type of game. It's Viking themed, and it has a really cool mechanic where you put your boat out there, and there's a wind, and the wind's blowing certain directions. So depending on what direction you're trying to sail with it or against it, you can go more or less depending on which way it's going. You're going to different cities, and you can either try to just do trading with them. You can try to actually do what Vikings do.
I was going to say.
Is that what trading is?
Yeah, trading with them.
We give you nothing, you give us everything.
Yeah,
Trade.
maybe we kill a bunch of you.
Yeah,
Too.
but no, I know like a bunch of Viking games came out all at one time.
Yeah,
It came out.
this got kind of swept up in that wave
The
right
Blood
after Blood
Rage.
Rage because there was
Yep.
Champions of Midgard.
Yep.
There was Vikings.
There was like 4 Viking games that
Yeah,
came out like
yes.
all at one time, and this was one of them. But I really enjoy this one. And I think it just kind of like got overshadowed by
It's
a lot of
definitely
ones
the
that
least
are out
talked
there.
about
Well,
out of all the ones.
And when you have a
Maybe
game
heard
called
of it.
Fire and Axe, I assumed it was a territory control game.
Right, and there's like almost 0 of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe they mislabeled it.
It is
Maybe.
interesting that the words fire and axe to mean area control.
Well,
It
just
is-
fighting.
They're
Yeah,
okay,
fire.
sure. and
Burn it
axe.
down
I
and
could see
chop it
that.
down.
Boy,
Yes.
you're a Viking. What do you do with fire? You burn the village.
Yeah.
It's true.
Typically.
What do you do with the axe? You steal the wood that you just burnt down.
It's like, to burn. Oh no, it's on
To burn
fire.
the village.
Yeah. But no, it's,
But
I really
it sounds like
enjoyed
a war game.
So we're
Yeah.
picking up and delivering torches.
Yeah.
or picking
know
up
what
and
you
delivering raiders.
Right. But I mean, you could just do like, I'll pick up some fish, deliver over here because they want fish, and I'm gonna do, or pick up like other goods and whatnot.
Sure.
But-
Take my
you
fish
can-
or else.
That's right. Take this fish. You'll trade. It's very good trade.
I will be Eric the Nice.
Eric the
No,
Nice.
not like those other Vikings.
Yeah, yeah.
guy
I'm a
gave
nice
me a bad
guy.
name.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why are all your Vikings Italian?
I know.
I don't
dude.
know.
Hey,
Hey,
it's just
hey,
me,
it's-
Tony.
I just,
hey.
I
It's the only
accidentally
accent I
did
got
it,
over
and Bob
here.
instantly did it back, and I was like, that's what we're doing now.
Everybody's
That's
Italian.
the Viking voice now.
Vikings did get to a lot of places.
They
did.
did. They did.
They did.
Even apparently Italy.
Little do you know, Sicily was like a haven for Vikings way back in the day.
Yeah, and then it got really hot, and they're like,
I'm
these
outta
furs aren't working out.
Yeah.
All this fire and all these axes.
Yeah,
So you're not
let's
just,
go back.
that's a great
Yeah,
dynamic.
yeah.
Wearing fur is not ideal in this weather.
That's right. Milk was a bad choice.
Ooh.
All right. My number 9 will probably get expansions, but I want them now. Clank Catacombs.
Oh,
sure.
I really like Clank. I really like what they did with Catacombs. I know that is not everybody loves it as much as I do. I know there's some people that don't like the difficulty or the possibility that you can get stuck.
Yep.
It's much easier to get stuck out in the depths in Catacombs because of the tile placement.
I
and
feel
stuff.
like it forces you to build your deck in more certain ways, unlike
Right.
the other ones that were more freeform. I do not dislike the game, but I do
Sure.
feel like it's like, hey, you need to have some of these cards in your deck in Catacombs. Where in the other ones, it's like, nah, do whatever you want, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm a Viking.
Right.
Italian Space Viking.
Hey, we're going in.
You're 100% right.
No, I know this game will have
I'm
expansions.
going to go out on a limb and say 100% chance,
Right,
Tim.
but that's why it's like my 9, right? Like
sure.
so, like Lords of Waterdeep is my 10 because it's like it'll never happen, but yeah, whatever. You know,
the
it'd
9
be-
will
I
definitely
wouldn't,
nice.
I wouldn't put it out of the possibility.
But
Slim.
the not like Clank would be a way up higher, but it's like I know it's going to happen. I just want him now,
Right.
Because I've enjoyed every experience I've had with Clank, like all the versions, all the expansions, space and the dungeon. I haven't played Legacy, but I've got it. I own it because I'm ready to play it. So more Clank, please. Thank you.
Clank it up.
That's it. Direwolf.
No,
or
more Clank
running-
is bad. You want
less Clank
in the bag.
Right. I mean, Bob my Clank.
Don't tell him that. That's how I keep winning.
You're trained him wrong on purpose. He's bleeding first, making him the
Oh
victim.
my god, I love that movie so much.
As a joke.
That's it.
Your clothes
That's
are
Clank.
red.
All right. My number 9 is, it's been around for a while, probably won't get any more expansions is my assumption, but I do love it. And it has some expansions, but they're really hard to get a hold of.
This is a theme.
Yeah, for me, because there's sort of like above and below.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
It's a good game.
Because I've played that game a lot of times now. Unfortunately, so much so that now I'm starting to. Oh, I know the story.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I know what happens here.
I know what happens here. I know what happens here. And it's always fun when I get like, oh, it's a new one. I don't know that one. But I know they have like a forest one. Instead of going to the dungeon, you can go to the forest.
Okay. Yeah, I was not aware of any expansions for Above and Below.
There is some
so-
expansions, but they were very limited.
Okay.
And so you can go to like BGG and get them for like $100. You could get like a small expansion.
Sure.
And so I'm like,
That's
That's a bit much.
tough.
Yeah, it's more than the normal game.
yeah, actually it is. And so it's like I want those. But two, also, it could like I would love to have an expansion, like a full blown expansion for Above and Below, where like there's a new dungeon book
Right.
that would have.
Yeah.
You found a new hole in the
decisions.
ground. It goes to a different dungeon.
Yeah, especially I think because the company's only gotten better with age.
Yeah. No. Red Raven, right?
Yep.
And
And Ryan Lockett.
yes, is an amazing artist, and also, I don't know if he wrote all those stories, but having played another Legacy style game where I hate the writing, that game, like the writing is great, like it's immersive and interesting and stuff, and yeah, like why can't I just have more books, like more
Right.
storybooks? Like maybe you incorporate a new resource if you want, but like even just have more storybooks
Yeah.
to drive your...
Release a new ringed binder book of
Yeah.
adventures. And you just use that instead.
And what happens is you have a whole new dungeon setup.
Right.
Maybe even have a new dungeon deck with different resource setups or
Yeah.
different things you could do.
And now he's done enough other things that it would not be out of the realm of possibility that he incorporate like kind of sneaks in some mechanics from
Right.
other things, like near and
Oh,
far,
exactly.
and other things like
Above
that.
and Below is a very good game, in my opinion. It's not a very difficult game.
No, but I love it. I think
But,
it's
but the
great.
experience is wonderful, right?
Yeah,
So
yes.
if you could add, I think adding a little bit of mechanical difficulty with some of the stuff, especially like collecting resources, is not just how many resources you get and when you get them, but maybe there's some other things where you can use them to spend, or there's a lot of stuff you could do there.
Right.
It would be really, really cool.
I haven't played any of them. Are you not worried? Are you not thinking that this almost sounds more like a sequel than an expansion?
No, because I would like the same base of the game.
Okay.
Really.
Because yeah, I know that like Near and Far and stuff do play different.
Yes,
So, yeah,
but they
you
use some of
want-
the similar ideas.
Right.
So Near and Far is a sequel because it takes in the world and does something different with it. So instead of being like I'm building a town, I'm like have an adventuring party and different stuff. And it has new elements that are completely new that change up the game. I would like Above and Below, but with some new story and a few mechanical add-ons
Right.
that would change maybe how I go about winning the game and scoring. But it would still be in the same vein, worker placement style and everything else.
Sure.
I think you would like Above and Below. With,
Oh,
like,
sure I
Because
would.
you like Tales of Arabian Nights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You like those narrative
Yeah.
driven games, and I think you would enjoy the look, like the appearance of it, but I think you would like all the stories and stuff. I think you would have a good
Yeah.
time with that.
Spoiler though, there's no jail.
I don't want it.
Okay, good.
That's also one with like a foreteller app would be
Oh, it'd be
Yeah,
incredible.
that would be good.
incredible. Yeah.
Though it is fun doing your own like squeaky voice or whatever.
Well, Dan and I have like an
voiceover.
ongoing Descent campaign, and we take turns like reading the characters.
Oh yeah.
you know?
Whenever I'm playing a character in an RPG, I want to read my own character's lines, and it annoys everyone else. But when there's an app and like my character comes up, I want to be like, "Where do you think we're going today?" Like I just want to read my own character's lines.
No,
you know?
you did that wrong. It needs to be Italian.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Hey, where are we going tonight?
I'm a Viking.
Oh, hey.
Your house down.
You get a raid, and you get a raid.
When are
There we
going
go.
to
That's
Iceland?
what I needed.
Oh.
Oh.
Dan, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. My number 9 is the one on my list that already has expansions, and I just want them. I was actually gonna make it 10 because it like just kind of squeaked on his list for that reason, but I just didn't want to talk about it first because because I do that a lot. So I moved it to 9 for fun, and that's because you can't get the Battlestar Galactica expansions. I want them so bad, but it's not worth $300
For one of them.
Or is it?
Exactly. Well, good point. Do you have
I
Dan
know
will
a
do
guy.
Yeah.
Back room. Meet me later. We'll talk.
Hey,
We'll
know
raid
this-
some villages.
I am very sorry, TV Games, on everything. No, but I just Battlestar Galactica is one of my favorite games. I love it. It's fantastic. I overpaid for the game. I like it that much. I didn't pay $300 like some people do, but I overpaid for it. But I just can't bring myself to pay for the expansions. I mean, it's insanity how much people are scalping for those things.
Yeah.
And
and there's no other way to call it.
yeah,
It
no,
is
I've
straight up
seen-
scalping.
I've seen websites
Supply and demand.
that you can like they're like almost like app assisted, like people have like made tabletop simulator stuff that's like, hey, you can play your game and just kind of like have the expansion on tabletop simulator and mess with it so you can kind of play it. It's appreciated. It's not the same.
no,
you
no,
know,
It's not.
But yeah, I needed to talk about it. It is like this and Lords of Hellas, which didn't make the list, but are the two that are like their games I won expansions for, and you just can't get them. Lords of Hellas is easier now than it used to be,
Right.
but there's still some of them are still pretty overpriced because they were, Kickstarter exclusive or limited and stuff like that, right? But so I wanted to mention Battlestar Galactica. I'll never have them, and it sucks.
I wouldn't count it out yet. There's still plenty of years ahead of you.
Sure.
Make a
like
Wish
3.
Foundation.
It is possible that I might find one sitting in a Goodwill bin one day. That is
The odds of that are not high, but
sure.
No. All right. So
Number 8.
number 8. So this one we've talked about it quite a bit in the expansion for this and how easy it would be. Rolling Realms.
Oh,
I want to see expansions to keep coming out of every new Stonemaier game that gets made. Like I think it would be super easy for him to do, and like maybe even as a part of like a Kickstarter or something like that, or pre-release. If you pre-release it, we're going to send you the card that goes into the Rolling Realms, and you just add it right in. Right? I think that I don't know if you played Rolling Realms or not.
I have not. I've seen it played.
Okay.
Never actually played it, but
Yeah.
that game does not seem hard to expand on.
no.
no.
Well, again,
he's
we talk
actually,
on the show a lot that it's just like they just announced that Scythe sequel.
Yeah,
game,
Expeditions.
right?
Expeditions.
It's going to have
so,
a Rolling Realms
so
card.
Expedition should just have a card that comes in the box. It's like, oh, you already own Rolling Realms. Here's the Expeditions card.
I
Like,
think
that
they're
is such a genius.
I think they're
marketing
throwing
thing,
that
I
in with the
think.
pre-order. Like if you
Oh, they
pre-order it.
actually are? Oh my God, our idea.
See, we're brilliant. We're brilliant. Dan, you're 100% right.
Yeah. Well, now we know Jamie does watch these.
We do. Yeah.
Do we get royalties now?
Yeah, I think so.
I heard the royal we there.
Hey, what's up with this guy? He comes on the show one time. Hey.
Hey.
I was a Viking.
Oh, you were. Yeah, I lost you for
I
a
was a
second.
Viking.
But yeah.
Good one.
If Vikings were alive,
Yeah, right.
we would all be dead.
Yeah.
My number 8 might get an expansion, and there could be. I've got ideas on like how they could do expansions for it, but it was one of my favorite games from last year, and that is Twilight Inscription.
I thought about it.
I just think you could do a pack of player boards, like additional
Events.
boards.
Yeah,
you
or
know,
new events.
New events, things
what I
like
was
that.
thinking.
There's a couple of different ways you could do it that would be very cost efficient, but man, I love that game
You
so
could bring
much.
player count up to 15. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what?
Double
even,
it.
even with the high player count, that game's still played in
Yeah,
under 2
a
hours.
lot of
It
it's
was
simultaneous and
amazing.
stuff,
I really love that game. Again, it's sort of like Clank Catacombs. There definitely could be expansions, but just give me. I want them now.
Right.
God, I just love that game.
So for Twilight Inscription, is it like because it reiterates Twilight Imperium, right? But in a different setup.
In a roll.
I mean, it's just a roll and write, but like a big chunk.
But does it have all the factions?
So yes, it's got a ton of factions.
I don't know if it has all of them, but
does it have
yes.
the new ones from the Prophecy?
It is.
expansion?
I don't know enough
I
about the
don't
Prophecy
remember.
expansion, but it did take. So I mean, if they didn't, that would be like a very easy thing they could do,
yeah.
right? Is
Yeah.
integrate those factions, like, and again, right, cost effective because you're, if you're selling a pack of cards, you know what I mean,
Right.
or like a small box expansion. I have to imagine that that's not that hard to make. Fantasy Flight.
True. Now, Twilight Inscriptions, paper and stuff is much nicer.
Oh my gosh.
So it wouldn't. Their pack of cards would be more expensive than other games.
Totally.
Packs of
And I would pay
cards
for it because
they're like thick plastic.
because you
and
know
stuff.
they're good, really well made and really good. But yeah, I just think with the potential for the different factions or the different kinds of boards that you could add, like
Yeah.
you could say, hey, we're gonna play without the warfare
Yep,
board, and we're gonna
100%.
sub in this
No, yeah.
different
You
guild
could literally
board
have
or-
variants that's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the peace variant. The war one is gone, and now we're adding in this extra, colonization
Council or something.
board. Oh,
because you
console
have
board.
because you have 4 different boards. You're gonna choose one to activate, then the dice are rolled, and then everybody is gonna simultaneously assign those die results to whatever board they chose to activate.
So you could even have like the same theme of the board, but change up some of the results on the
That's
board.
true.
Is that a
Yep.
thing?
Yeah, you could have asymmetric specialized warfare board kind of thing. Well, they are asymmetric, but you know
bit.
what I mean? Like
Right.
you could change the mechanic that war works, like what you're saying. Instead of like, hey, this is the war board, but instead of doing that line thing, my board is doing this. You could totally do that. There are so many. Again, it's
very modular
Yeah,
that
it's
way.
exactly.
It's very
It's a
modular.
big rolling right. So like, yeah, you can just kind of change that stuff.
It is
Yeah.
the roll and write
Crazy.
to rule all roll and
Right.
write. It is so good. I
The
love
one
it.
roll and write.
And I don't even
Yeah.
love roll and rights as a
I
rule.
dislike
but
them in general.
But I love that game. That
I still haven't played my copy yet.
it's so good. It's so good. I'll come over and play your copy.
Okay.
I'll come over and
This
play.
is ridiculous.
I haven't played yet.
All right, sounds like you need to go to Mike's tonight.
Again?
Twilight.
Yeah. It's a long drive. Mike can come over to my house.
Yeah.
I can go to Hoover's house.
But man, I strongly recommend Twilight Inscription. I just think it's really good, really unique. Even if you don't like Twilight Imperium, doesn't matter. Like that's the theme.
Yeah,
that's
And
the
that's
lore.
that's what I've heard from people.
Is you can have, like, for me, I like it. So I'm having my cake and eating it too, right? Because I get 2 things that I love. But
And you get it in less than 6 hours.
man,
Yeah.
it's so good. Mwah, magnifique.
All right.
But
number 8.
that's my 8.
Number 8 for me, continuing on the space theme, but non-Italian.
Italian Vikings? Or Space
Well,
Vikings?
actually, it could be. Actually, it could be a Valiant Vikings because it could be an expansion for this game.
There you go.
There you go.
Because my number 8 is Space Hulk Death Angel.
Oh, the old card game.
Yeah, the old school co-op game, which we'll never probably see print
No,
ever again.
because Games Workshop doesn't like their fans. D&D.
What do you think, designer? Do you think they like that? I'm just saying.
I think GW has been doing some really good things in the last number of years. They really are, I think, listening more. But they are very controlling of their IP. When it
I just wish they would re-up with Fantasy Flight again because they made some fantastic stuff together.
Oh, gosh. One of the best games of all time, in my opinion, for a card game was the Warhammer LCG.
Oh, the LCG. I forget what it was called. I had a bunch of those cards, learned how to play it, and then somebody made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Not to be an Italian thing, but then I traded it.
Wow.
Which is not on this list because it had plenty of expansions
Yeah,
and,
tons
it's,
of
and
stuff.
it's just fine. But that game was really good. But so my Space Death Angel, it needs to be updated. It's a good game, but it's older.
It is. There are lots of things you could do a lot better.
Right,
now.
almost like a second edition.
Yeah, you know,
needs
you
a second
streamline
edition.
it, revamp it. Fundamentally, you could still keep it the same way, but you could make it so much smoother and easier to play.
And more interactive.
Yeah.
Because there's some times in that game where it'll actually, if you're not careful, will be down times for everyone else, and they're not as active. And so there's a few things I think that would be more exciting for the game, but still do it's like mechanically it would be very similar, but you can do some things that would provide a little more interaction and opportunity for players. Also, it is the Warhammer 40K universe, so let me tell you, there's a lot of content there.
You don't just have to fight Tyranids all the time.
In fact, if you go on BGG, you'll find Necrons. You'll find factions of people, Tau Empire. People have created their own factions for that game. And I would love to see that game updated and added on.
Could you imagine, like, okay, I'm gonna take my Battle Sisters, you know, and like you're gonna
or
take
your
yours.
Space Wolves, Space
Yeah.
Vikings?
Oh boy.
Right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
I like how everyone looks at Dan, just like. So that is one I would love to have an expansion for.
That's a good pick.
And an update.
That's a nice deep cut too. I like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know anything about it.
I like that.
You never played it?
No.
I've got Pete's copy.
should-
Pete
I
has a Pete
I
has a
have
copy. It's at my
never
house.
played. That's not true. Relic is the only Warhammer themed physical thing I've ever played. Yeah, which Relic is just reskinned Talisman,
You
basically.
yeah,
Yes.
you should play Forbidden Stars.
Yeah, I know.
got that.
It looks great.
Okay, that one I've heard so like dark rumors.
Yeah.
So, like I
Yeah.
keep wanting to play that one, but like no one has it, or if someone has it, it's like I'm not touching it. It's on a
And then, of course,
Oh,
I played
it's
No, I've
encased
got
in
it.
glass and it's worth X amount of
We play
dollars.
our
Games,
games here.
games are meant to be played.
That's right.
But some of them are really expensive.
Oh yeah, no, I've got one,
Yeah.
and I've gotten some like lucrative offers for it. I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to it.
Good
But
for you, man.
yeah, you know, some things you just want to have
The
though.
Warhammer IP is strong. Like Chaos in the Old World, for example, is also that way.
Got a copy of that too.
Which, if you like some of,
Eric Lang.
Eric Lang's games, that was one of his first big ones like that.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can see some mechanics in that early on, right? That bled into his
Yeah.
other games. So
Well, I also, if I correct, I think I'm right, but he also worked on the Warhammer LCG as well.
I think that's
You know what,
true.
Sam? You're right.
Oh,
You're 100% right.
This is why I say, Dan, you're 100% right.
back to you, Dan.
Back to you, Dan.
All I want to say is if the Warhammer people like their fans, they stop making them assemble all their own miniatures.
Oh no, oh no, Bob.
No.
The Warhammer fans want that.
Yes, we do. Let me
Yes.
tell you, it is a lot of fun. I enjoy that aspect
Really?
of the hobby. Yeah.
That's why you're not in the hobby.
That's why you're a board gamer and not a miniatures gamer.
This is true.
Hey, if
true.
I want to create weird shenanigans with my Space Marines, I'm going to be making weird, strange shenanigans.
Yeah.
I want to, as part, that's why it's kind of different from like Kumi or Not, because Kumi or Not is definitely a pre-built, focused game,
Right.
right? But like with Games Workshop, hobby is part of that genre.
Hobby
Sure.
being
I
the
want
keyword.
sprues.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
like,
dude.
yeah, you can tell how much I don't like it because I love Gore Chosen. There's 4 minis. My copy is still not assembled. I played Tim's because it's like
Well, yeah, because Pete assembled mine
Pete assembled
and
him
then
and
painted
painted
it.
it beautifully, and mine
But
is just like
as a
piece
player of
plastic.
the hobby, it's so much easier now to find people to assemble
you.
and paint
That's
and do all that
true.
stuff. Now there's a lot of people out there who will
That
do that
enjoy
for
it.
you.
Yeah, and they'll do it for a reasonable price.
At a very reasonable
Always
come
price,
out really
and
nice.
because as long as you're not looking for like the super pros, like
Right,
there's a lot of good painters out there who do good work in a good amount of time. So
dip done. That's about my.
that's
the
army
extent.
painter.
This one's the White Army.
That's
Well,
right.
no, because you have like that wash stuff. You see it in a lot
Yeah.
of board
Oh,
games now.
it's-
I've done
Like,
that. Yeah.
do the wash.
Tim's done a basic wash and like dry brush and some of his stuff, and it's insane how it's so easy and it just
Adds so
it
much.
incredibly
Yeah.
increases the look.
I
of
made
it.
this, you know, and it's like so easy.
In that
I
voice?
did it to
Yeah,
my
usually.
to my ruins of Arnak.
guys, let's play a game.
Like, oh, you're so talented. Like, oh, thank you. I know.
Why, yes, I dipped it.
My number 8 will be much shorter than that number 8 because I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what they would do that's not the basic stuff that's very obvious, but I don't even own the game yet. I want to see Planet Unknown have expansions come out.
Oh, sure.
I
yeah.
just want to see it. The game is
I know
fantastic.
exactly how you would expand that
Well,
game.
right.
More
Well,
How
planets,
do you do
more
it that's not the
corporations.
obvious stuff that's like more
A
corporations? and
lazier
stuff like
Susan.
At least-
Lazier
you just try to
Like,
spin it. It's like nah.
It needs to be electronic, so I hit a button and it'll go.
Oh yeah.
So that way I don't have to, actually do the spinning.
And then
Disco
for
ball
Bob,
spinner.
it'll have a thing that'll lift the tile out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Play it as it lies.
Yeah.
well, when you're ready for it, and then it's just like pressure sensitive, you hit the thing, and then it just goes, and now you can just
raises
easily
it.
pull it
This
off.
way.
I'm trying to think of like genuinely what new mechanics could an expansion add because like the comet thing is really cool, right? The rover thing is really cool, like the onboard stuff. What could you add to that thematically that would be a fun thing to do, right? I don't know, like cities, right? You could have
Yes.
like cities that you have to build around and
Colonizing,
then, like, and yeah, like
yeah.
a colonizing thing, and then like, oh well, you don't want to terraform near the city because like when you drop stuff, you break everything it falls on. So you have to build around the city, and maybe what you build around the city causes networking between cities, right? Like almost like, oh, you can create trade routes between cities. If you like, maybe that.
So underwater cities in your Planet
take it.
Unknown. Yeah.
So you could totally do it where when you're terraforming on Planet Unknown, you're dropping the tiles and doing stuff. But what you're doing is maybe you have a terraforming combine or something like that goes behind you, or something that builds cities exactly the same.
Yeah.
So it's another way of you'd have to basically add another layer of scoring points.
Yeah.
And combinations.
Or what about so does anyone have a name of one of the things in Planet Unknown, like the brown tiles? What are they called? The
They're
blue,
brown.
Like the civilization tiles,
like
or
the tracks. What are the tracks called?
Oh, there are
Like the
Civ.
rover track.
I just played. So you
Yep.
have,
Okay.
you have the
Civ
Civ
is the
track.
black.
Civ is
Right?
black.
So just an example then. What if like you make a loop of black. You now drop a city in the middle of that, and that is a civilization city because it's surrounded by black, and then that gets
You could totally
bonuses.
score it where it's like, oh, place a city, score points for every Civ square
Yeah,
Adjacent to it.
adjacent to
right,
it.
that kind
Like
of
you
thing.
could easily do sorts of buildings and monuments and constructs
Yeah.
that would provide.
almost like the forest tiles, right?
Mhm.
Like you can like earn those
Exactly,
and put them
and
somewhere.
place them.
Yeah.
You could even actually add an optional additional track. So what you would do
Yeah.
is in an expansion, you'd have 6 of them. There'd be another track for you put next to
Yeah,
your
that you
corporation.
just slide next to it. Yeah.
And what it would be like a special building track. So it wouldn't be a rover. It could be a different kind of model that would go around behind it, and you would start building stuff
Yeah.
on different things. Or maybe you use it instead of scoring the meteorites one way, you could use the materials from that to build things.
Oh,
Or
sure,
when the
yeah.
rover
As like a
picks up,
fuel.
or if the rover picks up meteorites, you could use the meteorites to help build stuff. So
Clearly,
meteorites.
Sam has never thought about any of this.
Oh no, Adam did an amazing job on that game, and I will defend that game to the death.
Yep.
No, it's
That
great.
game
There's
is
nothing wrong
amazing.
with being excited and wanting to add stuff to it.
I mean, I wanna give credit to
Yeah,
Adam.
there's
Though it
nothing
could,
wrong with that
though
at all.
it could use another rule book
Is the rulebook bad?
rewrite.
Oh, yeah.
There are some
yeah.
things I wish were a little clearer.
I've never had to teach it from the book. I've always been
It was taught.
yeah, it's been taught to me, and then I've been able to just explain it.
I've played it a lot, and I've played with most of the corporations now and most of the planets. And there's a few things which I love his idea of, like, it's very freeform, which is how I like to design as well, where it's like, try the combination. Sure, let's go with it. But that can lead to some awkward questions on like how that functions.
Sure. Timing of things, so on and so forth.
Timing, how that works. And I just wish there was like an FAQ section for the most part in the book that would just be like, this is what this is. This is like a 3-sentence version of the 1-sentence ability to really tell you this is exactly how it functions.
Right, right.
And then leave the lighter version earlier in the book, which is fine. Because most of the time you're fine, but every once in a while you get something you're like, I don't know how that plays.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
almost like a Stonemeyer with Tapestry had like an extra page they gave out in one of the expansions that was all the clarifications.
Yes.
Yeah, the
and
erotic
And
stuff.
I
all
would
things.
love that for Planet Unknown.
Yeah.
Not because it's a bad game, but because I love it so much.
There's great
Yeah,
games
just,
with bad
Here's so many
ratings.
frequently
combinations
asked
that-
interactions.
Because
on a sheet.
I play the game a lot, and man, it gets so good.
So yeah, my number 8, Planet Unknown.
Didn't have much to say about that?
Maybe cities.
All right, so number 7. So this game's technically not out yet,
Nice.
but like I can see like expansions being made for this. It's called Forges
knew
of
it.
Ravenshire.
Are you
But like, yeah, like
Pandering,
I just,
pandering,
Not
pandering.
out yet, as in not
Pandering.
even on Kickstarter yet.
It's right there. What do you mean it's not out yet?
There's only
11 of these in the
in
country.
the country at the
Yeah.
moment.
Oh man.
But no, like apprentice packs, right? So you can have different apprentices that you could have to hire to help you with asymmetrical abilities, things like that. Like I think that
Welcome
would be fun.
to Bob's design pitch to get into the game.
I want credit.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, like some of the different things that we'd be able to do with this. But I just think that like there's just so much there, and this I'm really excited about this game coming out. And I'm just saying that Sam's here. I've been saying that before he was here.
We have been like, this was probably the game we were most excited for coming out of Origins.
Yes.
And then Gen Con, we totally forgot all about it, and we never talked about it again.
Ever
No, I'm
again.
just kidding.
And then Sam
We-
showed up.
Sounds about right.
And Sam showed up, we're like, oh crap, what was that game called again? Fishes of Fushenshire?
Hawkshire.
It's a Vikings game, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's
Hey.
the Forges. You gotta come down and forge some stuff. Hey, and forge a boat. Dan's like, I can't believe I
I'm
talked
not
to
proud of what I helped start.
It's funny enough that game actually started out as a Viking game.
Yeah.
See?
It actually
See?
did start as a Viking game originally.
That is hilarious. Wow.
But no, I'm just really excited to see like what other things we could do to add to this game to expand it and to do more with it. And like I think it will lend itself.
We'll
well.
have a chat later because there are stretch goals we need to deal with.
There we go.
Yeah. And I still am very proud of my idea for an ants.
The ant civ.
Hey, someone needs to be.
Somebody. I am just going to say,
Dan, you're 100% right.
I appreciate your support.
Yeah.
Good one, though, Bob.
Yeah.
Welcome to the board game teardown.
Yeah.
We're gonna tear it down.
Today's
This needs
episode is
expansion.
my ego.
So my number 7 was a game that I thought was going to have a bunch of expansions and hasn't yet.
Oh.
It could still happen.
Okay.
But I've heard nothing about them building on this IP anymore. And it used to be an IP that they would churn out a ton of stuff for. Descent. Legends of the Dark.
Oh, the newer Descent.
The 3rd edition, right? So 1st edition, they put out a bunch of stuff, and then they did 2nd edition, and they put out even more stuff, right? And a game like that lends itself so much to expansion. So I don't know if it's because 3rd edition is so app reliant that's if that's where the issue is, or like what is slowing down development or production.
I can probably say, this is my thought on it. I think Descent didn't do as well
as they thought. Well, the price point was pretty tough.
It was pretty high.
It was a lot, and I think they were. I think they were hoping for. I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I think it was a lot. I think they were hoping for more, and also all the app stuff is really expensive. And they used to have their own.
Oh
studio.
yeah, they got rid of their in-house.
Asmodee.
Yeah.
Did some things that they Asmodee did a lot of some rearranging, and so I don't think they had those capabilities.
Sure, because I mean they used to run the the digital the digital versions of games and stuff like that, and they kind of got rid of a lot of that when they were
Which is probably why my Splendor app doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and so
but that's Space Cowboys. I
don't know, but like it's interesting though because Asmodee also owns Board Game Arena.
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting how that all works out. But what ends up happening, I think it didn't do as well as they wanted to, and I think it's a really expensive.
Well, right, and we talked about that when that game came out. Is we thought it was really good and really interesting, but yes, it can be cost prohibitive.
Well, I mean, the box that holds the pre-built miniatures is pretty sick.
Yeah,
that was a very cool idea.
It's a big box.
Yeah,
and,
it is.
And also that, right, like it's directly competing now with games like Gloomhaven and Frosthaven, you know what I mean? And these other...
A lot of other app-driven type
other
of
campaign
style
games.
Yeah.
And they're just not the big boys on the block anymore, you know? And
also, I think that market is a lot of competition because not even that, you have Tainted Grail. You have The Awakened Realms. You have a ton of Bard Song.
Yeah, own it.
So there's a lot of dungeon crawl types that you're fighting with. And Descent was a big one for many, many years.
It was the big boy, you know. And now it's big dog.
I also wonder if the name is just a little confusing. The Legends of the Dark, the Journeys through the Dark. Like, again, I'm still not even 100% sure which name it is. But
Legends of the Dark is the newest one.
Right. Okay. But, again, just something I hear a lot, not only from me and from people like I know, but in forums a lot is people compare... And this is how it's worded. People compare Descent and Imperial Assault a lot.
Yes.
And a lot of people would just say, I mean, hey, if you like the kind of stuff that Descent offers, then look at Imperial Assault and stuff instead, or look at X instead. And now people might be seeing, because the new Descent is not like, the other Descent, but it might be getting kind of thrown in there because of how confusing that is.
Well, it was confusing because I thought it was a 3rd edition.
Me too.
Oh, we would call it a 3rd edition for a long time.
I even heard the company call it a 3rd edition once, and I think that was an accident by one of their people in a video because I swear I saw.
Well,
that.
and they could have considered it a 3rd edition,
right,
at the time, but
and then they were like, we're taking our marketing.
Jerry no longer works there. He said 3rd edition one time. Jerry, how many times do I tell you to say that,
dude?
He's like, hey, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I can tell you that most of the guys at Fantasy Flight are not Italian. Or Vikings.
Well, not anymore. No, but I just, and I get everything you're saying makes 100% sense, right? But
doesn't mean I want it to be true.
Right.
Yeah. No, and I, again, there could be stuff that comes out for it. It seemed really, because everybody was hyped. Oh, Descent 3rd edition's coming. And then you see the price point and you're like, whoa, you know.
I remember people like,
yeah,
excuse me.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of eyebrow raising.
And that's tough. And we opened the box when we did like a box opening, and we're looking at it and we're like, okay, like maybe, maybe this is worth it. And then we've played, played it a couple times and we've gotten into it. And I'm like, this game's really fun. Like if I had more time, like we would be plowing through that campaign more because I wouldn't be that hard to be like, Dan, you want to play Descent? Like, let's go. It's never been like, nah, I don't feel like playing it.
You know what genuinely might be a problem too, because we talked about this in the live stream unboxing thing that we were testing out that day. This is a expensive game. I won't say the price because I don't remember it right now. But
it's like 170 something.
Yeah, over $150.
That box is very light because half the box is cardboard standees. It's just a space to hold those, which again is really clever. But I think if someone goes in a game store and they see a price of that and they pick up the game, they're gonna go, really?
So you can, for the same price or even slightly less, pick up Frosthaven, which weighs
30
pounds.
Yeah.
And then you pick up Descent, which weighs like maybe 10.
8, yeah.
Maybe. And you're like, well, like just physically, the content.
And Frosthaven has the bigger name too.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
now it does.
Now it does. 100%. I mean, they have knocked Fantasy Flight off the pedestal.
All hail Isaac.
And the reasons it's light are good, right? They made a really clever box, I think. Is it oversized? Sure. But I think it's clever the way you don't have to take your stuff apart.
Nice.
All your 3D stuff just sits in the bottom of the box protected. You don't have to take it apart. Also, it's app driven. So a lot of the components that a normal game would have to come with, this doesn't have to because
not a big book
it handles that for
right.
you. But because of that, it's like a psychological thing that you're like, is this even worth it?
Yeah, I can tell you as a publisher, weight does matter.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
size.
for sure.
Because it's something that we have to consider as a publisher, because not only for your shipping, but when you're past that certain point is the purchase experience.
Right.
Right. What colors are you using? How big is it? How is that compared to the cost? Okay, how heavy is it? I'm a big proponent of heavy is better. It's not good for shipping, but it's great for retail purchase experience.
People pick up Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah, and throw their back out.
And they're like, geez, what is this? And you go, it's a rolling right. And they go, what? It's 30 pounds. Like, it's so heavy for a little roll.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge.
So Raiders of Scythia is interesting in that way because Raiders of Scythia almost like size-wise doesn't look right because it's so compact that you're like, I don't know if this is worth it.
Right.
And you try and pick it up one hand and you're like,
yeah.
let me get my other hand. And you're like, okay, maybe now
maybe I just wasn't worthy.
I wasn't not worthy.
Yeah.
Not if I can
Captain America, can you come over here and pick this up?
Elevator's not worthy.
So that's So exactly. So I think that's it's definitely part of the consumer experience.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just all these interesting things, right?
Yep.
That lead into like, why doesn't a game get more stuff? Maybe it legit has more stuff coming, but development takes time.
And knowing Fantasy Flight, they probably actually had some ideas for more stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I am sure. You don't put out something built on an IP that is well established and well known.
There is a whiteboard and an Excel sheet covered in stuff somewhere out there right now.
Yeah, the dust claw.
Yeah.
And knowing Fantasy Flight, an intern made a prototype somewhere and it's sitting somewhere in the warehouse.
Right. Indiana Jones style.
Oh.
Sitting next to the Ark.
And they have a big warehouse. I've been in there.
Jelly.
I used to work there. I used to make the prototypes.
Oh,
well, look at that.
So we're going to Sam's house to play the Descent 3rd Edition expansion prototype.
Sounds good.
No, they had very strict rules about what went in and out of that warehouse. Let me tell you that right now.
Stricter than the White House? Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Okay, political.
dang. Settle down.
Take some top secret documents with you.
So, Sam, your
Too
number
soon?
7.
Yeah, too
I
soon.
said they were unclassified.
Oh, yeah,
That
you
makes
thought
it.
it, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes it. I
So
told
my
God that.
number 7, right?
Yeah.
My number 7, game's been out for a while. It has an expansions or kind of 2 expansions that I like. I want more of the base game style though, and that would be Dice Forge.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
Because I would love to have a whole new set of tiles to put into my dice.
Yeah.
Yes.
A whole new system. Still the same Dice Forge, but like basically, this is where I would debate whether it's an expansion. Is it like a standalone expansion,
To
or
most
is it
standalone
literally just a Dice Forge 2 that would have a complete different play, but using the same mechanics?
Dice Forge, a new market, and it's just a whole new like pull-out thing. with
Yes.
Dice Forges of Ravenshire.
Whoa!
I can't tell you how awesome. Call me.
Yeah.
BA Games, call me. I would love to do like a Dice Forges of Ravenshire.
That would be a
you.
cool little like crossover
I would
expansion thing.
love,
That would be
love.
amazing.
Because Dice Forge is in my top 10 games.
I love
Okay.
Dice
I
Forge.
love the way it feels. I love the way it plays. I love that game so much. And I just, that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's very clever. I love the
Have you
building your own
played?
dice.
It's-
That's
it's-
amazing.
It feels
different-
good.
Yeah.
Because even when it's not your turn,
You're rolling,
you're
doing stuff.
doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different beast, but have you played
Dice Realms.
Dice Realms?
I have not.
Just
It's-
wondering.
It's really good.
It has the same dice changing mechanic and everything, but it's like a
I've
civilization
played a
game.
few other ones that are like Dice Forges, but no one's done better than Dice Forge, I
compares.
think.
Well,
Yeah.
one of the things that Dice Forge did really well is they found this perfect combination of like really good art design, because I really like the way that game looks, the way those dice feel, and their price point was ridiculously low.
That's true.
For like the amount of game. I was shocked. I played that game at a buddy's, actually my sister's house at like a game weekend, and I was like, man, I really like this game. Gosh, it's probably like $70, with all the dice and everything in here. And I got online, started looking. I'm like, that's half the price. Like, you know what I mean? Like retail. And, and I was just like, well, I'm buying this.
Well, I think
dang
the
game.
reason why is because they get away with actually very few components
Sure.
in that game. It looks way more intimidating because like the insert is very well thought
Oh,
out,
it's amazing.
Yep.
right? And you're like, oh, look at these cool dice and stuff. But when you really think about it, it's mostly cardboard and paper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's not.
So the production
not dual-
costs
It needs
are
to be a
really-
dual layered board first off.
Right.
That's what we need.
Right.
Check.
Put that into the box. But like, just a certain things about it, which actually they get away with a lot with very little.
But they designed it so well
Yes.
that, and again, though, right? There's something to be said, because this is directly related to like Descent, is now you've got a very accessible game on on multiple levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's not even cost prohibitive. It is,
Though it might be now.
it could be,
It might with the new changes to with the manufacturers. in
is
the
it getting
last
tough now?
There's certain things.
So
like
people go buy
plastics.
Dice Forge now. If you don't already have it, go
No,
get it now.
no, Dice Forge is going to be around for a while, I think. Actually, is it an evergreen? You think?
I love it. I will never not have a copy of Dice Forge in my
I
collection.
keep seeing it at game stores.
Yeah, yeah. It's good. It was one of the first games when I was helping do the open game nights here that I was like, hey man, like Dice Forge. Like I played it. Like I came in, I asked him, because if I try really hard to support FLGSs. And so sometimes I'll be like, okay, if that's actually MSRP, you know what I mean? Like I'll just buy it. Like I'll pay a couple bucks more and get it from here. And yeah, so then he was like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, it's a good game. Like, I think people are going to like it. And then he started seeing me like show it off here, like playing with other people. And then other people started asking for it. So he just started carrying it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Because the game is simple. It's fast.
it's so accessible, but very satisfying to even experienced gamers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Well, I was gonna say, and it's kind of anecdotal, but like when I have the Meeple meetups and whatnot, like somebody, and it's not always even the same person. Seems like somebody always brings that game.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's 3 or 4 different people who are showing up at this game because they want it to be played.
I brought it with me on the road.
Nice.
yeah, it's a great game. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's
So
fantastic.
that was my
Number 7.
Uh-oh, Dan's
It's a
turn.
Dan.
My number 7, actually, so I think this one, Bob is going to correct me on this. I think this one, like, has a fan-made expansion that does what I want it to do. I don't think it has an actual expansion yet, but Abomination Era Frankenstein is a fantastic game.
This is a soft, sore spot for Sam.
Oh, really? I'm looking forward to this then. So I think it's a great game. And obviously, there's some interesting stuff you can do with new locations and new abilities and stuff like that you
New
can
body
do.
parts you discovered.
The big thing I want, though, and again, this is what I'm saying, I think a fan-made one is out that does this. The game needs to be shortened.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
game
they-
is
there's
too
the Igor.
long.
There's an update to that.
The
Yeah,
Igor.
okay.
Yeah, right, Igor.
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 What
Now,
happened?
is it from the company?
Frankenstein.
Is it from the
Eeyore.
company?
No.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Oh, it's
actually.
okay.
Yeah,
I
they
don't
put it
know.
out.
Or
They put out-
okay.
either they put it out or they approved it.
Right.
Oh,
They-
okay.
yeah.
This is okay.
That's what I was wondering. Because again, I knew that something had been talked about for this game. I thought it originated as a forum fan made.
Yeah,
thing,
I think
but
somebody made it up for him and they gave it the okay. Like they said, it's officially.
I can't remember that, but I think it's somewhat official.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's one thing that I wanted. I haven't played with it. I don't have it, obviously.
Right.
But again, it's a game that I really do think is great, and I want to see more happen to it. Not that the game is old, but I just want to see more from this game. I really want this game to get kind of like not milked, but like just kind of like I want to see what else we can get out of this experience, you know? So Abomination was one of the first ones I thought of, actually, when we were making this list. I was just like, man, I really want to see some stuff for this.
It needs dual layer boards.
It needs dual layer boards?
That'd be a
It
nice
does.
expansion.
That's a game I'm like, it needs some thicker
Yeah,
boards, man.
because you're placing all your bits on that, and you
It
got
just kind
your.
of slides all over the place.
Okay, interesting. I
It'd
just
be nice if they slot, and there's some
Yeah.
stuff
Okay.
that I would love to see that on Kickstarter. That game would do
Give
well.
me a deluxe edition.
Yeah,
of it.
deluxe.
Yeah.
I did
second edition
Etsify
or
my
something.
bits on mine.
Yeah, because that's a game that would lend itself to that, and you could really get some interesting components.
That
on
might be why I don't have the complaint with it. Maybe it doesn't slide around as much with those. Something like because I've only played it 2 or 3 times, and I
Right.
didn't feel like stuff was sliding.
Well, and usually
around.
like you're using the cubes, and I have a hard time telling the cubes apart. But
Oh.
with my bits, like you can tell, muscles are muscles, right? And like the blood are
Right.
little blood drops, so you can really kind of tell them apart and whatnot.
Yep.
But yeah,
So that's a game that I'll need to play. I need to play.
It got banned from the Stockton household.
Yeah, I got it on sale, and I was excited about it. And my wife's not a huge horror fan, and she has say in the board game library, and so that one had to go back.
Oh man, I would have taken it off your hands, but anyway,
That's one that I want to play though.
Yeah, it's really good.
It
It's
is
a lot
good.
of fun.
Yep. All right, takes us to number 6. So number 6 is one of the earlier games that I played in my board game career, introduced to me, of course, by Tim's
Hi.
sister and brother-in-law.
Oh, not me.
No, not you.
he likes it.
Not you.
Yeah. Adjacent.
Adjacent. It's already has a bunch of expansions, but I don't want to say it's dead because they literally just sold off all the last of their bits. I don't think they're going to come out with anything else. Defenders of the Realm.
Yeah.
Is so good, right? And there's already like so many expansions with like the different characters and things like that. But I would really like to see like a hero creator, right? Where they've got like all these different like abilities, and like each ability say like, oh, this one costs 3 points, this one costs 2 points, and you get like, okay, you have 8 points, build a character you want with the
Oh, and then it
abilities
could come
you
with
want.
sprues, and then you can assemble.
Yeah,
Actually, there's a
miniature.
better one on that. There's
Oh.
actually a company, I think it's called Hero Forge.
Oh yeah, we know Hero
Oh,
Forge.
we know Hero Forge. Yeah, yeah.
That
Make your
would-
design your own.
No, I
mini.
want Bob to like be cussing as he's trying to glue little arms onto things. That's right. That's right. I go.
Did
You
you
get
see
all the
his face
screws.
just be like,
Oh yeah.
no.
Oh, I thought you were saying screws. I said like you got like a wooden board. And
No,
you
no,
like,
no.
Screw these abilities into the board. Like,
Oh my
ooh, this
goodness.
is
Now-
serious
now we're
upgraded bits.
talking.
No, no.
Yeah.
Sprues.
Nah, nope. See, I don't know what that word is.
See, I have boxes of sprues at my house
Oh right.
Blech.
Right.
because I'll never
Showers
use
in
them, but I never want to get rid of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cute.
That's good prototype components for your
Actually,
miniatures.
they can be
for your
used
next
for-
game that comes out that it's all miniatures. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Really excited about that.
There's a guy who actually he takes, I can't remember what he uses, like an alcohol or something, but he actually breaks down the goo into a goo form, then he sculpts it into whatever he wants.
I'm just buying the plastic.
Yeah, just
and then
buying the
I'm gonna mold it.
plastic. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda
that's what he
creepy.
does. Yeah.
But no, yeah, Defenders of the Realm. I think it could do well, like, you know, and new.
I mean,
char-
I would
new
just take
heroes.
a re-up new edition.
Sure.
I was gonna
know,
say
of
this
it.
is
Yeah, it's they did a sale where they
From
were like,
back
you know,
in the
last
day.
chance for Defenders
Yeah.
of the Realm type of stuff, and so I'm guessing they just were clearing out inventory.
That is a game that I wish I had the expansions for.
I know.
really do.
Yeah, I've got most of them. I'm not sure if it's 100%, but I've got a large majority.
Yeah,
of it.
Richard Lonnie that's one of my all-time favorite games.
Oh, 'cause that's being redone as Freedom 5, right?
Is that the one, or Defenders of the Last Stand, and then
It's
is
yeah, it's
now-
redone as like Defenders of the Last Stand, but it's like futuristic, post-apocalyptic.
right? But I think the
Okay.
Freedom 5, the Greater Than Games.
Greater
is
Than
that-
Games
yeah.
is because it's the Sentinels of the Multiverse universe.
Yeah, they Sentinels and
Ah.
Multiverse it.
Okay,
So
I see. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I like because Defenders is very
It's got
classic
pre-built
fantasy.
miniatures.
Okay, I'm in. Wait,
Yeah.
are there dual layer player
Of
boards
the-
at all?
I don't know. I had to double check.
We'll look into
dual
it.
layer miniatures.
Now,
Now we're getting deep.
yeah,
all right, my number 6. I don't think they'll ever make an expansion for this, but I totally wish they would because this game was so amazing when it came out. It is the best produced, one of the best produced games, especially at the time that ever came out. Pre-painted miniatures, the greatest insert I've ever seen in a
I already
game.
know what it is.
It was a campaign style game.
Yep.
Loved to teach this game. It was my introduction into programmed movement and programmed actions, and that is mechs versus minions.
Yeah.
And I have never played League of Legends.
Nope.
I hadn't even heard of League of Legends when mechs versus minions came out. But
Came out a long time ago, actually.
but I was like listening to board game podcasts and stuff like that at the time, and they're like, oh, mechs versus minions, and I started looking it up, and then I remembered the day it launched, I was on the website like refresh, trying to order a copy and get a copy. I mean, it was so cheap for everything that you got in that game, and
it was a great
I think
price.
they did not price what the game was worth.
No.
In terms of
it was
stuff.
a steal. I
Yes.
felt like a Viking, hey, when I got that game. I felt like I stole it from somebody.
Yeah.
But it was so good. Like the game that you got, it was so good. I don't know why my Italian is Dice Clay, but Hickory Dickory Dock. But I
We're gonna stop there.
That's a
This
game
game
that's
family
coming
friendly.
out if you're going to play that game.
right, kid friendly.
Not so much.
But yeah, I want more stuff for this game. I love this
Yeah.
game. This is a game, right? I own it. I will never get rid of it.
I got a feeling they probably won't do anything with it.
I don't think they
because-
will.
Well, you could
Because
probably
they
start
did
with
Minions, and then they made another game. Is it King's Gambit? It's more of an abstract style game.
Okay.
It didn't do well.
Okay.
I didn't even think it was out yet.
No, I think it did.
Okay, yeah.
Just kind of.
Or it was going to come out, and then it just
and then they pushed
then
it.
it just
Maybe
flopped.
Yeah, I was just because I remember hearing about their second game. Yeah.
it didn't do well, especially because Mech vs. was so hyped, and then King's Gambit was very different.
Well, and the thing is mechs versus minions. Not only was it so hyped, but I think it was pretty. I mean, it was really well received. You know,
Very well received.
Everybody was very happy with, not only what they got, but the gameplay. In
Yes.
there, right? I mean, I could not believe I was like $80, and I'm like opening up this box, and I'm pulling out tray after tray after tray
of pre-washed and pre-painted minis.
And the mini, there was like different variations of the minions, and then the really awesome, not WizKids like pre-paint job, like on those minis, like look great, and then like the secrets in the box and the things that it adds
Very
to the
cool.
game, like oh my gosh, it's so good.
I don't know what's going on at Riot Games in terms of stuff. I'm honestly kind of surprised they don't have something more on the board game side. But then again, board games are pale in comparison to video games in terms of overall.
Well,
So-
especially for a company known for one of the biggest games. I mean, yeah, their League of
Right.
Legends does just fine. For
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
well, but they're expanding out because they've done a number of games now that
Sure.
are much more gamey and oriented.
Yeah, Riot actually did. Dang, I can't remember what it's called right now. Sorry, it was like a free first-person shooter. Can't think.
they're doing a few. Like I think Valiant's one of them are doing it.
Valorant. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then they have another one though that's more like oh crap, I remember what it's called. There's a certain style of game
Okay.
because you basically draft certain things and they function. They do things in the game. They just kind of go. Then you add items. You do it. You see how far you can
Sure.
go and stuff. But
Kind of like a Darkest Dungeon or a thing like that. Where
Yeah,
you
Is it a
kinda like-
roguelike?
send your guy out.
I can't remember what it's called because Dota did it, and they also did it. But I think just in terms of I don't know. But there's a guy. I think it's Eduardo Baraf. He's from Pencil First Games
Okay.
who did Herbaceous
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
all those.
Mhm.
I think he works for Riot now.
Oh, hey.
So I'm like,
I'm
secret
listening.
knowledge? Are you working in the board game department? Is
Right.
that what's happening? I don't know.
Right?
Nice.
And also, I was a success of Arcane, the TV series, which you haven't seen. You should probably see it. Is you ever seen Arcane?
It's a Netflix show in the universe of League of Legends.
Okay.
Holy crap! Good show
People love it.
because it's a good show.
Yeah,
That is actually it's-
point proven.
like like my wife liked the show and she refuses anything with League of Legends, and it's just a good show.
Right on.
And I'm surprised there's not like an RPG coming out for it or
Make a
something.
note of that. Arcane.
Yeah, highly recommend checking it out. Cool show.
But
Right.
yeah, that's it. Mechs vs Minions. No, I dig
Mech vs.
it.
Minions
That's
great.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's an awesome game. I want more. That's my whole list. Awesome game. I want more.
Yeah, and I agree. All right, my number 6.
Yeah.
My number 6 is a game that's been out for a long time. Well, I guess a long time. I guess I don't feel kind of old, but that they did a second edition. But I'm not sure if it's taken a lot of traction. I think it's older. I think the style of game. It's Kingsburg.
Oh yeah, we talked about this quite a bit yesterday.
This is one of my favorite games of all time, and they did like a small expansion in the second edition or some things. I wish I would get more. Some of the stuff would get reprinted because there was a few expansions that did not get reprinted. I think in the second edition, as well as there's just I want some different like I want an overall like repass of the entire game, keeping the same mechanics, so that's just strong, but like. Some of the advisors you get, different stuff needs to be the building structures. There should be a whole new building grid that would be set up for the game. There's just some things I wish would get redone in that game because I just love that game to death.
I mean, you never know. It might get like that Castles of Burgundy treatment, right? Where they re-up and then...
Maybe, but like I feel like strong dice games like that are not in vogue right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard saying, right? Like Cubitos, what's the other? Coimbra. You know, I mean, they're very
they're
popular
okay,
dice,
but they're not like big, right?
Yeah, fair. They were hot for a minute, but like burn fast, fade away, right?
But like Roll and Rights have taken their place as kind of like that's the dice game that's kind of
right. Unfortunately,
for now, there's a good dice game coming up though. It's pretty good.
I hate you, Bob.
Pander.
Forces of Ravenshire is a very good dice game.
It is.
Oh, that game has dice?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even thinking that one.
I mean,
oh yeah, Bob. Thank you.
yeah, I mean, the dice just sit there most of the game.
No, but I think there's just games go in different. For a while, like there was so many different crawlers, and that's kind of calmed down. There's still a lot, but it's calmed down a lot compared to what it was.
Right. The market is still controlled by worker placement games.
That's right.
Yes and no. I think worker placement is strong, but
say, Dan, you are 100% right.
Dan, you're 100% wrong.
Oh, no! Oh, the twist! The twist!
And you can clip
Just kill Bob.
Can you guys clip that? Because that's what I'm waking up to every morning. Dan, you're wrong. Wrong.
Oh!
So my number 6, this is an interesting little topic of conversation for a minute, is I think had an expansion release, but is only available in Europe or something like that, because I haven't seen it yet, but I swear it's been talked about. But anyway, the Taverns of Tiefenthal is fantastic.
One of the best
game
games
is
ever made.
amazing. And I swear it had one released, but then I think I heard it was Europe only. I don't remember what all happened with this. But anyway.
So far as I know, it's only out in Europe.
Okay, cool.
It should be coming to the States.
What's in the expansion?
I don't know. Julia's got it. We should ask
Ends
her.
and something else. Yeah, they add rooms and a new guest that you can set up to.
Really?
Yeah.
I know
You can set nobles to the
they
room.
kind of have like modules in the game.
Yes.
With, like, the
Yes,
Right.
They 100% do.
But I don't care. I want more.
Yeah.
More.
This game is so good.
It is a very good game.
I love that game.
So yeah, I don't know if that's what I want, is what the new expansion adds, or if there's more stuff that I want. Again, I just think this game is an amazing overlooked game, and I want more stuff to come out for it. I want it to be just in the press more. I want people to talk about the new Taverns expansion. I want people to talk about the Tavern sequel, because I want
now
you hear a
people
lot
to
about
try this
quacks,
game.
I'm gonna speak
exactly.
for Bob though. Do people want that more than they want a game like Forges of Ravenshire?
Right now, yes.
Oh, okay, just checking.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Those are two very different
available.
games.
Like, one's available, so people want it. Like I'm just saying.
It's available. It's right there.
Oh, look, who wants this copy?
Wait, what?
That was the last time Sam came on the show, but it was amazing, right? It was totally fun when he was
But yeah, it's Taverns of Tiefenthal is a deck building, dice drafting game with very cool modular board mechanics, and it's just fantastic. Check it out. Yeah, I actually think it's the best game by
Wolfgang Warsch.
Yeah, and like
North Star
Schmidt
Games.
Spiel or something. I can't remember.
North Star
what.
Games.
Yeah, okay.
North Star
But
Games.
Wolfgang Warsch, and but people talk about it the least, I think, out of his games, and it's just really annoying to me. So
That's really good.
I actually own that one, and I played it a ton because it is fun.
Yeah.
I can get my family to play that game. I could get these guys to play that game.
It ends faster than you think, though.
Yep.
The only thing that you have to do is replace those wooden dice with real dice.
or
Be a man
right.
and use the dice that they give you.
Those dice
or be a Viking.
Hey,
Yes.
wooden dice like my teeth. Oh, Vikings. You know.
So anyway, number 5.
Yeah. So speaking
Let's
of dice
move on.
that just
They're
sit
not
there,
all going to be great, okay?
number 5.
We're gonna clip that. Just edit that out. Just delete.
So yes, number 5. Speaking of dice that just sit there, I really enjoy this game. It's the only game that this guy has ever produced, or designed, I should say. But it's awesome.
Oh.
It's called Beyond the Sun. I want
Dice.
to see. Yeah. They just tick up.
They're
how
just
many,
3D cubes.
they
They're
are
not-
basically.
they're not
Or
dice.
with numbered-sided cubes, right? So you have
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Dice.
Yeah.
You just don't roll them.
You just don't roll them.
Okay.
But anyways, more corporations, right? More planets. Or
More
maybe
techs.
like more techs, like maybe alien techs, right? You discover planets, and then you could add on to the bottom of the boards. Like once you've discovered an alien tech, you could divert and go down and do different technologies and whatnot. Like I think there's so much room for expansion in this game, and I really enjoy it. I want more.
Yeah.
That's why.
I really like that game though.
Yeah, it's a
one
good
time
one.
I played it.
Have you played Beyond the Sun?
I have. It's a good one.
Tech
Yeah.
Tree, the game.
Tech Tree, the game.
I like tech trees.
It'd almost be like
Ooh.
Korra, but not
Oh yeah.
Tech trees.
in some ways. I haven't played Korra, but I just know it's like that's a lot of tracks.
Yeah.
Jason from Board Game Mechanics loves tracks.
He loves
It's like
tracks.
His thing. Now, if only it was all beige, he'd be fine. uh, so my number 5, it is sort of like tying in like from Mechs vs. Minions, where a incredibly well-produced game with pre-painted minis. There is an expansion for it, but I want more. I want more mechs. I want more of the goodness. But I don't think Weta Workshop is going to do it anymore. But I want GKR heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Man, this game's so much
Put that on
fun.
there too.
You could just give me another like 2 mech expansion box, and I'm gonna buy it.
Right.
I
I'm
don't care.
amazed they didn't do that.
Well, I think what happened is
like
they
just
did.
two mech.
They
Expansions,
I
yeah.
think they started doing some of the other games, and like District 9 didn't do as well, and I think they had one other one, and did so well I can't remember what it
District
was.
9 like themed off the movie.
Yep.
Wow, I've never even heard of that one. So
Yeah, it had a successful Kickstarter and then no legs after that.
Okay.
I remember it being at Gen
yes.
Con and
I was there at Gen Con. I did some play testing for them at Gen Con. We met one of their, I think she was either a third party, kind of heading up some of the stuff. Game's fun, cool stuff, cool ideas. I just don't think they were ready for the board game world.
oh sure.
I think they were using their name, but I don't think they were big enough and large enough to really push the game in the board game world.
Yeah, no, I think the people that like GKR has a very good following, right? And the people that love it and enjoy it quite a bit.
Yes.
And there's people like me that like champion it all the time. And they're like, oh, this game's so much fun, you know, and I
Yes.
love but again, it's a very niche style of game. I'm not gateway gaming, you know, people with that one. But then, yeah, because I think District 9 didn't do so well after the Kickstarter. I think it rode the reputation of Weta and the popularity of a fantastic movie, and then nothing. Crickets.
I think that's pretty common for people who are outside the board game industry and they come into it. They're like, oh, we're going to do this cool thing, and it's awesome, and they do a great job.
Right.
Weta Workshop has amazing quality.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. There's
Like Riot Games, there's amazing quality stuff, Mixer vs. Minions. But then they're like,
what do we do next?
Now what?
what? We wanted, I think they expect more from it. But the board game industry is fairly small, really,
Right,
compared to all the industries.
it's growing, but yeah, it is definitely.
It's growing, and it's not, it's not nothing to scoff at,
Insignificant,
but
yeah.
but it is very small, especially compared to the movie and the
Right.
video game industry is
Right.
very different.
Right. So you're saying we need a GKR Heavy Hitters movie, probably directed by Peter Jackson, with Weta doing all the practicals for him. I agree. That's great.
Peter
Sounds good.
Jackson?
Oh,
What you said, yes.
yeah.
I love Peter
Or,
Jackson.
I'd watch that.
I wish they would actually do like a Pacific Rim
Crossover
style
type of
game.
thing.
They
like
did
that.
a Pacific Rim game.
It was
Not them, but
Not-
someone else
Yeah,
did.
not that one. I don't want that one. I want a good one.
Wow.
I want a good one. I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. But anyways, I love GKR.
The minis are
Heavy
pretty.
Hitters. Yeah, they are. They are. But I love GKR. The pre-painted quality again was really good. The sculpts are amazing.
cheeky writing.
The cheeky writing, yeah, the flavor text on the cards is hilarious, and then just the gameplay style is a ton of fun if you like those kinds of games. Because I had a buddy, we used to play like BattleTech back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And so I can get that fixed, but it's easier to get started and get to the
It's
table.
easier. It's more focused because you're not running a lance. You're running like one
Right,
mech.
right.
And it's a little different because it has some more board game elements. Whereas BattleTech is definitely more of a miniature tabletop game.
Yes, yeah. And when we were playing it in along with a role-playing game campaign.
Oh yeah,
So it was even more like, woof,
Yes.
you know, an investment. But we were in high school. We had all the time in the world, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like tons of fun.
Right.
Yeah, those are the days.
Guess who was running that?
Greg.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my number 5.
All right. My number 5 is a game that I love dearly.
Oh, is it Forges of Ravenshire? Sorry.
I'm not sure if you heard of it.
No. That's number 1. Oh, I was kidding. No. My number 5 is Raiders of
The North.
Lost
Scythia.
Ark.
Dang it. The North Scythia.
North
I was
Scythia.
hoping someone would be like, North Sea.
We would never.
I was waiting for someone to call full into it. No, apparently didn't. So, Raiders of Scythia, which is kind of like an expansion into itself because it's basically takes a lot of the North Sea expansions and it consolidated into like one game.
Okay.
Right.
But there's some things still missing from it. And it doesn't have a 5th player,
Oh,
classic.
which frustrates me because I know not everyone's like, well, game shown me 4. Like, I get that. Good for you. But for me, I have 5. We're 5 brothers.
Ah.
Right? And it always seems when I have a get together, there's always a 5th person.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you invite it's just 2 couples. There's always a 5th person that shows up. I don't know how. I don't know why, but they do.
You know the reason I've played Lords of Hellas half as many times as I have? It's because there's no 5th player. Like, I don't have the 5th player expansion. And there's always 5 of us that want to play it. And I'm just like, Gah!
Yeah, because for people because for some people 4 perfect number.
Right.
But like there are some games I wish there was a 5th player. And some games, yes, it would be longer and not as good, but I have the option to do it because I want to play this experience with people and stuff. But sometimes, some games, like, you could have a 5th player and it would be just fine.
Right.
Dice Forge could be the 5th player.
It could. It could.
Dice Forge could most definitely have a 5th player and be just fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed.
So that's my number 5.
good
Raiders
one.
of Scythia.
I just haven't played it. I've heard such good things
Yeah.
about it. My number 5 going a very different direction. I have no idea what expansion would do for this game because this game is already a beast.
Yahtzee.
Take any games that you guys think is a beast. You're wrong. This game is a beast.
Is it called The Beast?
What do you add to it? It's called U-Boot, the board game.
Oh gosh.
What?
Yeah.
What is this game?
U-Boot. It is a submarine simulator.
Oh,
Yes.
I've heard
There is
rumors.
a giant miniature submarine in the middle of the table.
Well, it's not. It's
They're not-
cardboard.
Cardboard.
Right. Well, miniature means smaller than what it actually is. That's what the
not
word
in this
miniature
world.
means.
Not
Sure.
in this world.
Not in this world.
There
It
is a
means plastic.
giant smaller than it actually is submarine.
Barely.
Stupid. In the middle of the table, and you are moving your character around on it, and everyone is assigned a job. And like, I was the navigator when we played, and I took a week to study how to actually navigate submarines because it's very realistic. Now, no, if a submarine navigator sat down, he'd be like, "No, this is simplistic." Of course, it's a game. But I mean, I had to like do math and plot courses and use instruments and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
So-
Dan's
Really?
like, well,
Yeah.
I bought this
Like,
sextant,
legitimately.
and I'm gonna now learn how to use it.
That's the expansion, the sextant,
yeah,
right?
the sextant.
Yeah.
The Sextant expansion?
Yeah, you have to buy it in a pre-pack.
Bob's like, I thought this was something completely different.
Yeah, that's not what I thought. It comes with like a compass already and everything else because you're literally plotting your
I mean,
course.
it says 8 up, so.
It should come with cigarettes because you guys need smoke breaks.
They do.
They
Yeah.
literally do.
They, like you literally have to like surface.
boost
Surface
morale.
to give
So
them
it
cigarette
boost
breaks.
morale, and then because it's a World War II submarine.
Because World War II submarines, which
simulator.
weren't quite the underwater submarine, that
Right.
were,
Yeah.
but more
Yeah,
like
we're not talking about the Red October.
they're more like
here.
a boat
We're-
that occasionally goes underwater
Yeah.
for about the time, but that's it.
that actually
It's
intentionally
also,
goes underwater.
I don't know if app-driven is the right word, but you need it. But it's also a whole thing
App-assisted.
where, like, when you use the periscope in the submarine, you pull up the app and you actually stand up and spin around, and you have to. And the person using it has to be able to say, like, 20 knot. Like, they have to be able to communicate so that you're
Their
adjusting
speeds
all
and
this
what
stuff.
direction
It's
they're
insane.
heading.
It's amazing. I don't know what you'd add, but I want it. I think Phalanx Games just did a stunning job with this. The only thing that comes to mind, which I don't think is possible, but could you imagine a versus mode where you have two submarines versing each other, dude?
There'd be a lot of quiet time and like waiting. Like, ping.
Oh, dude, I'd love it, dude. Can you imagine?
Foreteller could do the app for that.
Yeah.
They could hire a voiceover to go, bing.
That's it.
We get a group together at your house, a group together at Mike's house, and we're
Yeah.
like versing each other, and you're
That would
literally
be
going
awesome.
through and you're
Dibs on
getting
Bob's
the
house.
you're getting the sonar pings going, and you're like, slow down, we go up periscope, like looking at. Oh my god, it'd be mind blowing. I don't
That'd
know
be
if that's
funny.
even feasible.
I mean,
But anyway,
that'd be kind of cool.
You
Anything is possible. Will it make money? I
Yeah.
don't know.
right,
True.
right.
That's
Yeah.
true. You could
But
just
that
buy Captain Sonar.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good pick, Dan.
Yeah.
That was a spicy pick.
I just
there,
want to
sir.
play it.
Spicy.
All right. So number 4. My number 4, I think I'll get some agreement at this table.
Not from me.
Nope. I was wrong. Love
It's
you,
a
Bob.
great game, kind of a civ game. It's called Korra: Rise of an Empire.
Oh my God, Bob.
Yeah.
Hey, when you're right, you're right.
Dan, you're right.
Bob, you said that?
Yeah. Oh,
So I said,
Oh boy.
cut that. Cut.
One left, Tim.
you're the last holdout, Tim.
To get the cyanide out.
Gotta bust that tooth.
Yeah.
But if you leave, that means 100% because there's only 3
Oh,
left.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
yeah, you
damn,
gotta-
I gotta stay around.
You gotta stay to
Descent.
descent
Yeah.
and try to find an expansion for it.
Yeah.
What's in the dark?
Funny.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So, like Dan said earlier, that's why I had some ideas because
Yeah, yeah.
I had thought about it a little bit. I think it lends itself to expansion rather easily, and I would like to see those.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
That's good. That's good. My number 4 is a game that this could happen, but probably not super likely. Zaya: Legend of a Drift System.
Oh,
This
sure.
is a game that I enjoy
I
quite a
really
bit.
Talk
to
about
play
one
that
you could
one.
do anything for.
You really could. I mean, it could just be more ships.
More ships.
Uh,
More
Landing on
contracts.
planets.
more
planets.
tiles,
Oh, cool.
new planets, different contracts. Like
I've heard amazing things about that game.
this game is a wonderful sandbox game, and
Mm-hmm.
you're one of the things I love about it is that when you are upgrading your ship, your ship has like grids, and because of the shape of it, like it
Hold certain things certain
holds
ways.
certain things certain ways. So when you're buying tiles to like add missiles or better guns or armor, you need to or storage, you need to be able to fit it on your ship. So you've got like this spatial piece that you're working on your player
Spatial
board.
puzzle.
And then, you're spending energy, you're flying around, it's a 4X, so you can explore, you can raid other people if you want to be a space pirate. Hey. But you can trade. There's just lots of really cool things in this game anyways. And
Vikings are pirates.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Space Viking. I don't know. But anyways, it's an awesome game. I love it. And if they were to put out more content for it, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
As soon as they're done with Iridia.
Oh, yeah,
Exactly.
already.
Finish that.
You like finish that
Then do
first,
2 things.
then come back.
Then come back, circle back. We're going to do this. But yeah, Zaya: Legends of a Drift System. Man, it's a really fun game. I enjoy it quite a bit.
That's also a cool name.
It
Yeah.
is.
Legends
It
of
is a
Drift.
cool
I'm like,
name.
ooh, yeah. Nice. Though part of me feels like I'm going to get a car and start drifting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get it.
Yeah.
So,
You got to go to Tokyo to do that, or can you just do that like here?
ooh, with a soundtrack.
Yeah.
From
Right.
Tenacious D, that'd be great.
There you go.
Now we're talking.
I'm back in.
Back in. All right. So my number 4.
Is it a real game? It's just a tribute. Just checking.
Wow.
I couldn't even remember what the real game was.
Yeah.
This is just a tribute.
So this game is kind of like a reprint, sort of, with an aesthetic difference. And it had like a new track. That was King of Tokyo Dark Edition.
Yeah. I left this off my list because I knew you were going to talk about it.
Yeah, because we actually briefly mentioned it
Yeah, we did.
the other night. Because I love the aesthetics of the game, and they added the wickedness track, which really helps the game in a lot of ways. Because before, you're like, oh, I rolled a 1. Well, 1 sucked. No one wants 1s. No one wants 2s. Everyone wants a 3 or hit stuff. So like the 1s and 2s are kind of. But now 1s and 2s allow you to improve your monster.
Oh, interesting. So kind of like Power Up?
So they're kind of like power-ups, but they're different, right? And so actually, it was so successful, I think, that they're actually bringing it to normal King of Tokyo. So there's going to be an expansion for the wickedness track, which means I want the power-ups and stuff in my King of Tokyo Dark Edition now. If they're going to take my wickedness track away for everyone else, I want the other stuff now in that aesthetic.
And
I want that dark, cool, glossy with splashes of color and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I didn't know it added a new track, too. It makes me want it even more. That's
The wickedness
cool.
track is actually a cool thing because you're like, oh, do I get the 1s? But then I get a power up will give me a heal every turn.
Well, and good on Yellow, Bob, and Richard Garfield for actually not only just like, hey, we're gonna slap some amazing art on this game, buy it again, but like to actually add content to it.
And it not only adds content, it actually fixes what I think one of the problems in the game, which isn't a problem when you play games. It's fine.
No,
It's
but it
enjoyable,
makes
but
normally your dice you're not excited
it makes
about.
decisions more difficult.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Which is good. So that's why I want more for King of Tokyo Dark Edition.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
My number 4. Bob, when you're right, you're right. Beyond the Sun, man. Yeah, and
Bob
I
is
just
100% right.
wrote text and events.
Yep.
You know?
We made it so far without crossover.
I know,
now you
twice.
clowns.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse. I've already looked at my list, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
The game is awesome, but I could see the replayability suffering eventually.
Yep.
And so just getting new text, new events that
New
go on
corporations,
there,
you
new
know?
corporations. It'd be so easy and so well received. I think.
Yep.
It's a really cool game. Just get that stuff out.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Fantastic. Good job, Dan.
it. Yeah, I know.
All right.
clip that one too, please.
Yeah.
Damn, Dan, you have all kinds of motivational things in the morning when you wake
Bob,
up.
we might
Don't
cross
need it.
over. We might cross over
My
on
week
my
has
next one.
sucked.
We might. All right. So my number 3. I really enjoy this game. No, you're not gonna. You don't have this one on my list. Gray Fox Games makes some really exciting stuff, and I think that After the Empire could have some really cool expansions with it.
I want to play this game. Like
You have to.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like a Mystics or a Wizards Guild, right? So you can have like different types of people that you can hire to help defend. You know, like, oh, these guys can take out like a horde, but you can't have guys next to them because, like, you know, the fire spells kind of backfire.
Okay,
a little
sure.
Bit, right? Something like that. Or like a builder's board where you can build different types of like catapults or like your own types of like siege weapons to help defend against the people coming at you. Different types of like almost like a fantasy element maybe where you could do like other types of monsters or hordes of things coming at you besides just like archers, swordsmen, and stuff like
true.
that.
Yeah.
Like I think that'd be, or like then they got the catapults and whatnot, but maybe a little bit more with that.
Yeah, a little bit more
So-
siege
Like a
engine
scorpion,
type of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Have you played that at all?
No.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's awesome.
I want to play it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
My brother's like, guess what I played? I'm like, I hate you right now.
This is one too I wish we could remember about because a really long time ago, it might be in the review, but a really long time ago, you and I went back and forth in a video about what we would think would be cool for expansion in the video. And
Yeah.
like the designer commented and was like, we might be working on some of that stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I don't remember
I
what those
remember
ideas
that.
were
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
So like I wish I had those.
Time to
Well,
go
he
back
stole
to the
them out of
vault.
your brain, so you
Yeah.
can't take credit for
I
them.
can't remember.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. As long as I make it, I'll play it.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. All right. My number 3 is a game that I know Bob loves, and I know I love it.
Okay.
Because that's why it's on my list.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't.
They need
I
one.
saw it.
They
Don't
need
you
an
dare say
expansion.
Korra.
They need an expansion that's more than for just 5 and 6 players.
Okay.
Because that's the only
Oh.
expansion that I know of that
Yeah.
exists for this game.
Okay.
Star.
This is
Yeah.
Starfarers of Catan.
Catan.
Catan Starfarers,
In
whatever the current version of it is
space.
called. I like Catan. It's an
Yeah.
evergreen game, right? I like the Game of Thrones version better,
Yes.
but I like Starfarers best.
It's the best version.
It's the best version. It's
think
the
I've ever
best
played that
boy
one.
out of all of them.
Starfarers is.
I
It's-
played Ad Astra,
it's
which is
so
like
good.
a Space Catan. but-
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't played Ad
Haven't played that
Astra.
either.
But yeah, so in Starfarers, they do this thing where everybody, if you are below a certain level of points, you're getting resources every round,
Automatically.
regardless if the die fall in your favor or not.
So
Which
it's a
is
catch-up mechanic.
yeah,
Yep.
and it
Yes.
really
It works as well,
keeps everybody competitive because then the higher points you get, you're not getting those gimme resources the closer you get to the end of the game because you don't need them.
Right.
You've clearly
better
already built
diversified
up a really
yourself,
good
yeah.
engine. But then it has that event mechanic in there, which Dan and I freak out about every dang time it comes up
Have you?
because it is so
yeah,
much fun.
You're not sure. Have you seen the giant spaceships in Starfarer Catan?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so you have your board and you've got a little ship that you're moving, right? You're sending out your ships to
To
the
like
different
make
planets.
the trade routes and to do that stuff.
Right.
But-
Colonize.
Cool.
But where it gets amazing is you have this ship that is not quite this
Not
tall.
quite that tall. Yeah,
but
about
it's
that
about
tall.
this tall. And what it is, you add engines to it. So you physically take a
Yeah.
piece and stick it in the side of your ship.
Okay.
So you've got
Guns.
boosters, you've got
Boosters.
guns. So and then
So
that's
cargo
toy,
compartments.
nice.
and,
Yeah.
and then you've got there's these little balls down at the bottom, right underneath. So you basically you shake it or you turn
You
it,
tip it, shake it, turn it over,
And then-
2 of them will show in the bottom.
and then whatever to dictate like what your actions.
What your
gonna be.
moves are going to be,
Yeah.
whether you have an encounter or not. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you get like the black one, you're going to get an encounter card. And those can be amazing. And they don't always go the way you think. Because
yeah.
it could be like, so like basically if I rolled an encounter, right, came up with an encounter, Dan's going to pick up that encounter deck, that card, and he's going to go, okay, Tim, so you come across a ship that was damaged. And the only survivor on board claims to be a princess from planet blah, blah, blah. Do you help her? and you're like, it's like yes or no. So if you say yes, now you go down here. Oh, well, no, it turns out that it was a decoy, and now pirates are, raiding your ship.
Yeah.
You
roll your fight. Yeah.
But it's not always that. Sometimes it's like,
oh, she's helpful.
Yeah,
Thankful.
right. And then you get
she's
extra,
actually a mechanic in disguise.
Yeah.
Well, and again, the thing that's fascinating is it'll say then like, oh, you encounter pirates. Do you have at least 3 guns on your ship, the one that you've been upgrading? And if so, it's going to branch off depending on what you can do
Depending
by
what
how much you've
choices you
upgraded.
made
your
and
Test
how-
your
Yeah.
strength
ships.
against the person to your left.
Oh my
if you win,
gosh.
this happens.
Test your might.
It is
Yeah.
insane because again, it's like we keep saying it's like the best version of Catan, and it is.
It is.
But the
It's
reason
barely
it
Catan.
is all the stuff that's not Catan. All the new stuff is so good.
Well,
It's
because
crazy
the
how much they
Catan
changed
base
it.
system is strong.
Sure.
It is.
The
It is.
Catan base game is people get old and tired of it and whatever, and maybe you grow up into the stuff. But the base game is very sleek. It works. It functions well, and so adding on top of it's very easy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Building blocks.
And Starfarers is so good, and there's just there's just tons of different things you could add to it, and I hope they do. I mean, it's awesome that they reprinted it,
Right.
because it was out of print for a long time.
Yeah, up there.
Yeah, that's the old version.
So
So-
those motherships apparently are super fragile. And
Yeah,
they break.
and now they're very durable,
They are durable.
and everything. But it's such a fun game.
It's
Is it
really
a game
good.
to print down.
Yeah, what was awesome though is I remember when we first got it, and I'm like, and Bob's like, Catan. Like, I
Yeah.
don't play a Catan game. Like, I'm like, come
Little
on,
did you
dude.
know.
And then we played it, and he's like buying it. He's got the
I got the 5-6 player expansion.
Isn't that always like the best feeling?
Yeah, it feels
Honestly,
good.
if I could do that every time, we're like, oh, I don't want to play that game. You're like, all right, just try it once.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
what we
like,
did with Forges of Ravenshire, I think.
Yeah.
We're like, this looks like junk, and he's like, just try it.
Let's try it.
Okay.
That's actually pretty okay.
Should I be offended by that or not, or what?
So that's it. That's it. That's my number 3.
I'm taking the punches right now. All right. My number 3 is Planet Unknown.
Hey! Has anybody talked about this one yet?
What's that about?
Is that with the lazier Susan?
It is the lazier.
So
Susan.
yours has the laziest Susan, right? We got to keep
yes.
So similar to Bob's pick then, I wondered why you had so much input when I was talking about my...
Strange. Yeah. Really
crazy.
weird how that happened. I don't know. Just
I'm just a fast thinker.
yeah,
Ideas guy.
It just kind of just happens. you
Yeah.
know? When you get to my level, you can understand. No, I won't go into the details, but yes. So, Adam, if you're watching this, I need more content, bro.
Tag him
Yeah.
in it. If he's your buddy, send it to him.
Yeah, tag it.
We talked about you a bunch, man.
Sorry, Adam, but we love you.
Yep. We do. We all really love that game.
We did. Yeah. Like, was that Mike was talking about how like that's his 6-player go-to game now. Like when there's 6 people you want to play a game, you pick that
That's
out.
the beauty of that game.
Yeah.
Is that it's like, oh, 4 players, awesome. 6 players, great.
Yeah.
Because it's about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Other than the teach,
Right.
You're not adding anything to the game.
No.
And if everybody's already played the game, you're really not.
I
Adding
mean, you
anything
do
time-wise.
lose the fact that you will get less captain picks.
Oh, sure.
That's
But
yeah.
to honestly have to find that game is trying to figure out, can I
No,
make this thing
I
work?
love that.
Yeah. Where does
Getting
this
stuck
go?
with this.
I
You're
feel
Like,
like
I don't know what to do with that thing.
I feel like I do worse when I have to.
When you
Be
make the decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why did I?
You're not
pick
wrong,
that?
actually.
You know, like-
a lot of people are like, I don't want to make the choice.
Yeah.
Give me two. Sure, I'll go with that.
I
Well,
would-
because then I definitely like, why did I pick this? This is terrible.
Yeah.
I got
Yep.
stuck with this.
Tim doesn't like blaming himself for his mistakes.
That's right. That's what it boils down
I
to.
can blame Bob for this one.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks a lot.
I did
Bob.
really well if Bob
Bob,
hadn't
you
picked
hosed
that.
me. Now you're like, oh wait, I'm
Now I'm
in
gonna
charge.
lose this game by 100 points.
Yeah, because that one pick you made.
You're like going, oh, this is not what I would have picked. And they're like, well, what would you have picked? You're like, that's not important.
I don't even know.
No, whatever. We're not talking about this
That
anymore.
tile doesn't even exist in this game.
That's actually really funny. Planet Unknown,
good
number
pick.
3.
Yeah, good pick.
Okay, top 3. Here we go. So my number 3, I doubt this will ever happen. It would be awesome though. And this is kind of like, I like supporting a company that I think just made a fantastic product, and also I want to see what else they can do with the game.
EA
and
games?
that's Wolves of Mercia.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what they could possibly do with new factions
Extra
and stuff,
roles.
especially because how the game is designed
to be so
like
tight.
in a vacuum, kind of,
Yeah.
right? It's like because it's not, so some games, like, oh, there are 30 possible roles, but we're playing with this 10, right? In Wolves of Mercia, there are these 12 roles, and every night you have to go through all 12 because you don't know which one's in the game. That's part
Right.
of the game, right? I don't know if you know it. It's kind of lesser known, but it's like a werewolf,
Yeah.
I want to see what else they could do with this. You know,
It's the best small box werewolf game.
Exactly.
That's like the easiest way to.
Part of me thinks it would have to be a new standalone thing, kind of like how the One Nights do, where it's like, well, this one's One Night's vampires, this one's One Night this, and they're like different but similar.
I think more stuff in that universe fits the category. You know,
Again,
still.
this is just like peak design to me, just well done. And so I want to see those designers, that publishing company, do it again. What else can you bring me with the Wolves of Mercia universe game rules, those kind of things? I don't know what they would do, but I want to see them try.
That's Wolves of America.
Yeah, well, in this one, we misspelled it.
That's right.
You could do more daytime rules because that doesn't affect the night rules.
That is very true. You
So-
can easily do new balanced daytime rules. How the number system works would then change, but who cares? You still just count down or whatever. You just be skipping numbers.
Right, and you could do like 1.5, so you know that person goes between this one and this
Oh,
one.
yeah,
that would
that's
mess people
very
up.
true. So that you could have them all together. Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, anyway, Brybelly, you did a fantastic job. I want to see what else you guys do.
Is that John Leo? I think is the designer for that.
I think
Something
you're
like that.
right, actually. I'm so used to only saying Brybelly.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember.
I didn't remember Brybelly. So.
Okay, there we go. Teamwork.
Makes the dream work.
All right.
I believe what Benjamin Franklin said that. Is that what we established?
Caesar.
Julius Caesar. That's what it was. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
Wow.
Right before they stabbed him. Yeah. They're like, you're right, et tu, Brute.
Number 2.
It's on the 15th of March.
This is where I thought you were going to cross over with me, Tim. I guess you have
we will.
2 chances still.
We will.
Star Wars Imperial Assault.
Oh, okay.
I would like to see some Mandalorian type adventures going on.
Oh, this is the way.
could-
That's
like-
very smart.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because I was expecting one of you guys to bring about Rebellion, and we won't hint towards anything. I was kind of expecting that.
Okay.
But this is clever. I didn't think of this.
You know, new like missions packs. You all have like different types of Mandalorians, right? And you specialize in different types of things. And then, you just go on the different types of missions. And
Last
whatnot.
week, I
surprised.
literally bought the Tyrants of Lothal expansion. Just
Right.
last week, I literally just.
that's
literally
that's
just-
Thrawn.
Yeah,
Yep.
baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
This is the
baby.
way.
The best villain.
Most definitely.
I am blown away that Mandalorian was, it's still very up there, but it was the best received Star Wars thing we've had in forever, and I haven't seen it been worked into anything.
Yeah.
That is very surprising,
Yeah.
actually.
Lego.
Yeah, it's about
got a
sure.
lot of Mandalorian Lego.
But I just mean,
Yeah.
that, like, I'm blown away they didn't cram it into Imperial Assault yet.
Well, maybe they will.
I don't
Give it some
know. It
time.
Or
depends.
outer-
IPs can be tricky.
Outer Rim.
Yeah.
IPs can be very tricky,
Outer Rim.
Sure, of course, of course.
especially recent IPs because they may not see a use for
The money there yet.
the
Or
board
maybe they're
game.
saying let's not milk it too much in too many different types of categories before they.
or they
release
just may
it.
not think that the board game industry would
be worth it.
be worth it.
Yeah.
It
Could
really
be.
depends.
I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
All I know is that working with IPs can be very tricky.
Of
is
course.
my understanding.
Sure. Yours is available for sale, right? Somebody wants to.
My IP.
Yeah.
There's a few IPs I would like to work on.
What's
Actually,
that called?
sure.
Colts of
That was-
Ravenshire? I
Colts of
think is-
Ravenshire.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say your IP was
Taverns
really
of Ravenshire?
smart. Your IP was really smart with the weird squid monsters and and what?
No, I would love to. I almost did that for the top 10 for this time. Was
Yeah.
instead we do top 10 IPs that you would like to see in a game.
Oh.
We've done something similar. I'd love to touch it again.
I would definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few things I would like.
Phrasing, Dan.
Bob's listening.
Whatever. I give up.
But yeah, see some Mandalorian stuff and like do some missions. I think that'd be fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be totally down for that. And that is not where we're going to cross over. My number 2 is a game that hopefully will be coming to the United States soon. It is Marvel themed currently. Comic Hunters.
Yes.
I want more Comic Hunters stuff. I want DC comics. You can give me EC comics, like the horror ones from the 40s and 50s that got banned by the Comics Code. I'm a comic book nerd. I just want more. Give me more characters. Give me, different versions of the issues. I mean, of the comics that they're putting out. I don't care if Greater Than Games wants to do their own Sentinels of the Multiverse version of this because, I mean, they've got already a bunch of stuff,
Idea for you.
built up there, right? I mean, I just really like Comic Hunters a lot. It's simple. It is drafting the card game. We're just like, here's 5 different ways you can draft,
Sure.
and we're just
It
gonna.
was a lot of fun. I'm
Yeah.
so glad you taught me that.
I am
I
glad
was
you.
having a ball. I was
I'm
like,
glad you enjoyed it because I love that game, and I like obviously right because I didn't even mind just teaching it. Like I'll just teach this game because I want to hang out like while it's being played
and watch people draft.
Yeah,
because it gets
and
really interesting.
see-
Like, what are you doing?
and see what people do. and
Crazy
stuff.
ways to draft in that game.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a fantastic game. There's a lot of hype around it right now. I'm really hoping that it gets a U.S. release. However that happens, maybe Arcane Wonders, maybe. And if it gets a U.S. release, I want more. Give me more expansions. Give me more variety, more stuff.
Would Arcane Wonders be the multiverse people or the Sentinels people?
No,
'Cause that could almost be a way to do it too, right?
no, they're not. They Greater Than Games is Sentinels
Greater
and
Than
Multiverse.
Games.
Arcane Wonders does Foundations.
So
of
there
Realms.
has been a lot
Well,
more.
yeah, I knew that. I just,
Oh,
There has been a lot more dual crossover stuff. Like I think it's like the Op or
Oh,
US
yeah,
Op,
the Op.
or sorry, the OP.
I call them the Op.
The Op.
But yeah,
can't remember.
I haven't been
Oh,
corrected.
okay, Yellow.
I haven't been
Come
corrected.
on.
Yeah.
I've yet to be corrected. And I know that there's
They told me
some
the
Op
right
people
way to
that watch.
say it, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, that was useful information.
Back to you, Dan.
But yeah, my number 2 is Comic Hunters. I'm so glad you had a good time because
It
I
was
did
great.
kind of hype it up, and then we played it.
Well, you
and
didn't have that too much. Like you're like,
didn't?
this is gonna be really great, and that was
Yeah.
about what you said.
This is gonna be
And
the
then I was
best experience
like,
of your life.
you undersold this.
Yeah, no, it's good. I'm glad you liked it.
That was really fun.
It's
I enjoyed Comic Hunters quite a bit.
especially if you're a comic book fan. You know,
I'm a comic book fan, but just drafting is so
It
much
is. It is a very clever like mini game. The game.
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
usually
for
the people do like one kind of drafting
Right.
And it's
in
always
every game. It's always the same kind of
Can
drafting.
you imagine Blood
This
Rage?
time, we're gonna draft.
Can you imagine Blood Rage drafting like that way?
Oh,
Like
all the cards are out, and you're like,
even if it was like
Which
the
you could,
place,
actually.
place
Yeah, you
one,
could.
Place one. Do I pick up or do I
add to
add?
it. Oh yeah.
That would be spicy because it even works a lot like
Yeah.
Comic Hunters, in that you have different gods who have different like. It's real interesting.
It would be interesting.
So is that on the list? Blood Rage for expansion?
Yeah.
I want a Blood Rage
Calling an audible
expansion
here.
called Card Hunters.
Yeah. Viking hunters. Hey, we're here. Where's the gods at?
no
Look,
rage. Hey.
Hey, Odin. Hey, me and him are like this.
Well, you gotta do like a troll hunter thing.
Yeah.
That's what you gotta do.
That's a good movie too.
Jeez. No,
All right, you guys ready?
What? The Norwegian one?
Oh, maybe I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's a troll thing, right?
Yeah,
I watched
that-
it with my wife. We enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all in Norwegian, but it's like these people go out in the yeah.
Well, sort of
hunting trolls?
Norwegian, because they have like some Americans who kind
Yeah,
of who
I think that was-
speak American, but you can tell they're Norwegian.
Are you talking
That
about
was-
Dark? Is that what you said?
No.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called troll. I think.
Troll hunters, I think.
Oh,
I think it's called Troll.
okay.
Or maybe it's just troll, but yeah, it's good. It's a foreign movie. Yeah, they put in American characters so that when they could cross over the U.S.
Okay.
It's actually enjoyable. I wouldn't say it's like the best film
Sure.
ever, but it's enjoyable.
No, it's fun for what it is. It was pretty good.
Cool.
Better than expected.
Yep, I enjoyed it. All right, my number 2 is Glow.
I haven't played Glow.
I haven't played it.
Oh wait, you had Glow in your game bag the other
I
day,
did,
yesterday, didn't you?
Because
Yeah.
I love that game. So what is Glow is, for those who don't know, it's,
Ladies wrestling.
look at it. It's what?
Well, that's the name of that show on Netflix.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
It was.
With Mark Maron. I enjoyed that show.
So what is Glow?
Back to you, Dan.
So
I've never heard of it. I think.
So Glow, it was a French game that got moved over through what's the company called?
Hatchet.
Is it Bombix?
Oh.
I think they're with Flat River Group now and Greater Than Games. They're kind of like a conglomerate now. So what it is, it's light has left the land, and so all the artwork is in black and white, and so you have to go on an adventure to get the light and bring it back. But in order to do that, certain elements are involved, and so certain creatures have different elements they're with. So what it is, it's kind of like a engine builder, but with dice, because you'll roll those dice. But when there's a draft, engine building, and dice is kind of what
Okay.
it is. Very short game, but what it is, you're on this journey, so you can get points by going through the journey, but also you're getting different creatures, and they'll either have dice or combos, saying whenever you roll the leaf, if you get 2 leaves in the water, you get 3 points. But you're drafting dice with cards too, like with this card. Like, so I'll have to show it to you sometime.
Okay.
Actually, probably after this if you want. It's a very short game, but ton of fun. It needs more. After I've played it like 12 times, after doing that, I want more.
Right.
I need some new cards, some new creatures. I need some new stuff. I'm not sure how well it did. I hope it did really well, but the game is conceptually is just really cool. So
Okay.
I'll show you guys afterwards. It's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. So Glow, GLOW.
Check it out.
that's how you.
Sounds awesome. That's
Well, I
how,
wanna
that's
make
how you
sure,
spell
like,
it. That's how you spell it in French.
G-L-A-U.
That's the French spelling.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah,
EAU.
EAU.
I don't exactly. So I'm like, just so you know, G-L-O-W. That's what it is.
L'aigle.
So my number 2,
Terrible pick.
Bob. When you're right, you're right.
Oh my God.
Oh,
A
no.
War of Whispers. Again, my biggest problem is that the decks should be more interesting
should
and more asymmetric, and so a
Well,
simple card pack.
Now that they fixed our first biggest problem
Yeah.
with the upgraded
Yeah, with
bits,
the collector's edition is awesome. Yeah.
now
So-
fix the other problem.
So again, I want other stuff. Of course, it'd be cool to have new factions. It'd be cool to have new ways. Again, what about? Again, I just want this kind of in a lot of area control games now. But something in Ankh where you can change where the lines of the areas
I'm
are
listening.
and stuff,
Okay.
right? Stuff like that's always cool. But the main thing for me is literally just an expansion that
Asymmetric
makes
player
those
powers.
decks more interesting.
Yep.
Well, and asymmetric player powers, of course, would be really
Always.
cool. But anyway,
Always player powers.
Bob,
Yeah.
you
Nailed it.
we're doing great so far.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Bob, you're 100% right.
Thank you. On the downside, my number 1. Isn't going to cross over with anybody.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh, War Room.
War Room expansion.
You're very close.
Oh, it's Axis and Allies.
It
Okay.
is. So yeah, for those of you that know me, know I love Axis and Allies, specifically the 1942 second edition. But the one thing that it's missing from the original version is the technologies, which is one of my favorite parts.
Well, they
about the
got rid of the
original.
tech tree, right, in that version?
Yes, there's no tech tree period. So,
Yeah,
so
that's
what I'm
garbage.
saying is
Oh,
they.
really? I never played that version. That's it.
Yeah, it is very sad, but it's a much more balanced version.
Because
right?
of that.
Yeah, well, partially because of that. But like, well, they did away with the rule like in the original Axis and Allies. I always just remember whoever was playing Britain would have one battleship and just a stack of transports, right? And so you're Britain and you're sending all these planes out there to try to take it out, and they're like, okay, so I'll lose 8 of my transports, leave my battleship there, and you've wrecked all of my planes that took me a bunch of money. Now transports are they don't defend themselves. You have to take your hits on the battleship first, and once I've destroyed that, I can just clean up your transport because there's nothing left there to defend them. And that rule makes that so much
It
better.
fixes some of the problems that you would take advantage of.
But
yeah.
I think that you could still work in some sort of like text, right? Like Germany could devise a new tank that attacks at a 4 but defends at a 2 instead of just being a 3 and a 3, right? Something like that to help with your blitzing and whatnot. Japan could still do super subs so they can move 3 spaces instead of just 2 spaces, something like that. Long range bombers for America still work out, right? So you can still do a lot of the things that the original
And you can
text
have
used to do.
rockets. I mean, that was the other thing, right?
So
Yeah.
like Britain, I think, had the rockets and whatnot, so like they could attack like across spaces, and still
Across
be
the
able to do
channel.
that. Yeah,
So
across
would,
the
so
channel.
would you have like each country has like their own tech
specific-
trees
Yes, yeah, asymmetrical
instead of
techs.
like a shared tech tree like in the original?
yes,
Right.
yeah. Well, did they do shared in the original? I
Yeah,
don't think
the
they did.
original
There,
is just
there,
you,
there
you
was
paid,
there was 6 techs.
you paid
Okay.
and you rolled a die.
Oh,
and
you randomly got one
yeah.
over. No,
And
yeah,
so then I
I-
get really mad 'cause I'm like, I don't want that one.
yeah. Why does? Yeah, I don't need
Oh,
super
I
subs
rolled
with
6, I
Russia.
got rockets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I got rockets. Let's
But
go.
I think that they could assign it, then if that country chooses to, invest their resources in developing those technologies, then you could, yes, upgrade that and have like a new ability that comes out later on in the game. I think that could add another level to it without like, it's not like you can add a new faction, right? It's pretty much set like what it was.
Well, didn't
but,
they add Italy to one of them?
yes. Well,
Instead of
they
being
are
all,
in
instead of
some of
all
the
Germany, they made it
Allies.
Italian.
Yeah, to try to make it more players, they would
believe they had, like,
split
Spanish
Italy up.
accents.
Well, nobody expected that.
Because
Yeah.
it was always off because it was like a 5-player game, right? Because
Right.
there's always
Right.
2 Axis and 3 allies.
Correct. And so they split.
Yeah,
it.
Italy, so that which,
Weak sauce.
Poor Italy.
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, and even like
They
so.
had the Vikings though, so it's
They,
okay.
they did. I love it.
That was the best
That
one.
was the best one.
That was very good.
But like
Did you set that whole thing up?
Yeah, we did the whole thing.
Oh
No.
my god.
We
Big thank
played-
you there.
We played War Room, and in War Room they've got Italy as a separate entity. But like when I played 1v3, and me as Germany just played Italy also because if you're just playing Italy, you're bored because there's not a lot you can do. Your production is super low. There's only so many things you can really do. So it's just like an add-on to somebody else. So yes, somebody can play that faction. And to me, like Axis and Allies doing that is, like I said, I think it's kind of weak sauce. Like, sure, you made it a 6-player game now, so it's more even 3v3. But did you really need to? Not really. I think that adding the text back in would be a much more satisfying expansion to that.
I went
As
the
soon as you said that was like my number one thing that came to my head was this one.
I went the Man in the High Castle expansion where you play as the.
Well,
like an
it says-
alternate world.
universe,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
That'd be
that'd be super
spicy.
cool.
Give me
Yeah,
that.
that'd be-
I'll just take a game based on that.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Actually, I would do the Red Dawn expansion.
Oh yeah, only the Patrick Swayze version though.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we don't
The
need
new
that
one was weird.
Yeah, we don't want to
It didn't-
offend anybody by making it a specific. I mean, it's
Red.
just
It
not.
was
as
North
good.
Korea. Don't worry
I
about it.
know, but it's like that's easy. Like it was
my
awesome when
God.
it's like the Soviet threat. I remember that movie scarred me as a kid because I would like
Yes. Yes, it did.
stare out the window at school and it's like our Russian paratroopers are going to come in like at any time and my teacher's going to go out there and get shot in front of the whole
Well,
class.
every hot air balloon I see nowadays, I
Yeah,
think, like,
right.
do I have to shoot that down? I don't
Did you
know.
hear about the recent Chinese?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Red Dawn.
What's funny is that Dan and I are in the park like one block over from Bob's house just sending all these balloons
Yeah,
up to go over his house. Here he goes.
Bob, like, they're coming. They're coming for me.
They're invading.
America.
Yeah, that's right.
Which reminds me of
Rules of
Fortress
America.
America.
Yeah, well, that's a classic.
That's an old one.
All right, my number one, Bob. I'm shocked we did not cross over on this
Okay.
because there is so much room for expansion.
Sure.
On
I think I know what you're going to say.
the greatest Star Wars
I was
game
right.
ever made. You were right, Dan.
You were right.
Damn it, I said it now.
Today was worth it.
We're done.
Dan's like, I could clip this. It's going every morning. I wake up. Dan, you're right.
Can't
100%
believe
right.
we got him. Oh, that was so
Oh,
good.
got me.
Tim, you were the last holdout.
I was.
You're
I
our last
was.
hope, man.
Oh, man.
And my only hope, Obi-Wan Kenobi. My favorite Star Wars game of all times is Star Wars Rebellion.
Yep.
Give me
of
now,
that.
right? So they expanded, right? Because the one expansion they did do was
did a good
essentially
job.
Rogue One.
Yep.
Right.
Rogue One.
And they improved. They fixed
The
combat,
combat.
right? They made it better. Now let's do prequels. Let's do the new stuff. Let's do Fallen Order. Let's do Mandalorian. I mean, you can add different things to that game. You could do like smaller versions, or maybe it's an extra player expansion. I don't care. Give me more stuff. Like I love that game. Star Wars is such an awesome universe, and you don't have to build just off of the movies. You could build off of other things that they've done. You know what I mean? Or the cartoon. You know what I mean? Like the other series and stuff like that. Right. And you could add more things to the game, update it, make it more interesting. I mean, not that it needs to be more interesting, but just new things, freshen it up a little bit. But man, I mean, that's just one of my all-time favorite games. It's my favorite two-player game of all time. I love Star Wars, so I'm already like, take my money.
Right.
So just however they want to make that work, right? Like, give it to me. I want it.
Nice.
Yep. Very cool. Like I said, I figured this was coming. I mean, in no world is prequel going to be an expansion. That's going to be its own game.
It'd be its own board, right? You could just do its own thing. But again, kind of like Wolves of
standalone
Mercia,
expansion.
if it's another game that's like Rebellion, but it's got the different
Right.
era,
Right.
Knights of the Old Republic, whatever. I'm in.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm just saying I think that one would fall out of expansion, but
No,
who cares?
fair point, yeah.
Fallen Order would be a super easy expansion for that. That's a great one. Again, I even think Mandalorian and stuff can be thrown into that kind
Well,
of
I
stuff.
think what you do is you can add a third player to the mix now, and they've got a different objective.
Man, the
like a neutral
scoundrels,
thing.
like what
Yeah,
X-Wing
scoundrels.
does.
Right.
That would be fantastic. Have a smuggler faction that's going on.
awesome.
That's where Han Solo goes now. Boba Fett, Mandalorian are now in this third faction. They're just
Playing
simple
both
men
sides.
trying to make their way through the universe. You know.
Yeah, sure.
So like, oh man,
Sold. All right,
Yeah.
I'm buying it.
Yep.
Oh, wait, it's not out?
Yeah.
Dang it.
start designing too.
That's the problem with some of these. I'm like, I really want to buy that now.
Yeah.
I know. All right, that's my number one. Star Wars Rebellion. Number one with a bullet or a blaster.
My number one is a game it's out, but it's kind of I'm not sure what's going to happen to it in the future, especially because its sister game is currently on GameFound.
Uh-oh.
So that is Dwellings of Eldervale.
Uh-huh.
I have played Andromeda's Edge,
Oh.
and Andromeda's Edge is a good game, but I still like Dwellings better in some ways.
Okay.
But Andromeda's Edge solves some of the problems I think that Dwellings would have. And I think by kind of transposing some of those elements over to Dwellings would make Dwellings a tighter game.
Sure. And that stuff happens all the time. You can easily see that happening.
I don't know what's going to happen though.
I'm just saying,
because
it could.
Dwellings is Breaking Games,
Right.
which Cardboard Alchemy created, but the Breaking Games is a publisher.
Oh,
but
that's why you said
Andromeda's
sister.
Edge, I don't think is Breaking Games. I think
Is
it's
it a
just,
different? Is
I
it
think
the
it's
same
just,
designer?
I think it's just Cardboard Alchemy. It is. It's Luke Laurie,
right.
and it's Peter Vaughn who did a lot of development work for it, and his partner. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I talked to Peter. That's all I know. Cardboard Alchemy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if some of that will get transposed back
Sure.
or what.
That is an interesting fringe case.
So I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be reading the whole situation wrong. I hope I am. Because, for example, the biggest thing, if you guys ever played Dwellings?
Yeah.
No, they've been trying to get me to do it, and just time hasn't
It's
allowed
a fun
it.
game.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it. But the combat is you roll the dice, right? Oh, I'm going to add some daggers. You roll dice. Whoever has the highest wins, period.
Mm-hmm.
In Andromeda's Edge, your size of force matters.
Nice.
So if you send in 3 whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you have what's called targeting. And so anytime you roll less than that number, the 3, then you get to re-roll those dice.
Oh.
So you may have 6, because that's what that problem happens. Like, oh, I rolled 6 dice, and you also rolled 6 dice, but you did it with just 1 soldier, and I did it with 5 soldiers. You made up the difference with resources, which is great, except the fact is, so you're on equal footing. But if you bring a larger force to the battle, you'll actually have a better chance.
You
'cause
should
you'll
have better odds.
re-rolls.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because you're more committed to that thing. And I think Andromeda's Edge does that beautifully because you get the re-roll.
Yeah, that's
which,
interesting.
Which is used a lot in modern day Warhammer.
Mhm.
If you ever played 40K
Oh, yeah.
recently,
oh,
they've
yeah.
been adding a lot more re-rolls to the game because chance is great in games. You should have chance a lot of times. But being able to manipulate the dice
You need
or
to
be able to
mitigate a
do
little
things,
bit,
mitigate some of
yeah.
those things, provides, I think, a better experience overall. And I think that would help. That's one of the things I would do is add that to Dwellings of Eldervale.
Mhm. Yeah,
Cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
Good pick.
plus also how the they have an event deck now
Oh, okay.
that it allows you to score throughout the game. So whatever, so basically in Dwellings is basically by element, right?
Right.
But Andromeda's, they're like elements, but they're like different types. Like this is your supremacy track or your warfare track or whatever.
Okay.
And so what's happening is that the event happens. Oh, we're going to score this track right now. We're going to score the science track. And so everyone on the science track will then score, and then a new tile will come out.
Nice.
So instead of someone trying to push the end of the game by just exploring real fast, it's more at a certain pace, which means
Sure.
it ends, I think, overall, it's a smoother experience that I would love to see transposed.
So things
as
you
well.
could move over to Dwellings pretty easily. It sounds like.
Yes, I think so personally.
Nice.
But it would need an expansion because you'd probably have to replace some of the tiles
Oh, sure.
and say play with this expansion to do a few things.
right.
that you
Right.
do.
Right. That makes sense.
Dwellings of Eldervale.
Nice. Nice
I
pick.
unfortunately can't speak on it, but I trust every word.
Dan, on that note, you're 100% right.
So my number one,
Right.
Bob. When you're right, you're right.
Oh
No,
my
I'm
gosh.
no.
I was like, oh!
There it is. No, I'm gonna count this as a crossover in spirit between our ones though, because
Sure.
yours was a game that you knew no one else was gonna pick. It's one of your favorite games, and
Yeah.
you wanted just more variety between the things, more powers and stuff you were talking about, right? My favorite game of all time. Blown on the Clocktower. Yes, I'm talking about it again. The game comes with 3 base scripts. There are other scripts that are going to come out eventually, and I just can't wait to get my hands on. Not only that, but so the game comes with somewhere around 80-ish characters in the base game, right? With the 3 different scripts, but they're already announced, publicly shown off, but play testing, technically experimental characters that they call them, right? But there's 20 of them or something, and you can just play them. The problem is they're not available yet. So eventually there's going to be some kind of expansion that comes out that's hey, here's all the experimental characters, then you just throw them in whatever game you want, kind of thing. And then also there's just literally just going to be more scripts, right now we have Trouble Brewing, Sex and Violence, Bad Moon Rising. There's going to be other named themed scripts. Levi and I are super excited right now because the company has announced that sometime within the next 2 months, they're going to start releasing new characters again. What they did last year, I think it was last year, maybe it started the year before, but last year, they would just every month they'd have a live stream on Twitch and the video would go to YouTube and it's a stream dedicated to the new character. Oh, it's the Night Watchman showcase, and the Night Watchman would be the Trouble Brewing script and the Night Watchman
Oh,
wrote
sure.
onto it, and they would just show off how the Night Watchman worked, right? And then next month, oh, it's the Amnesiac, showcase, and they just show it in multiple games, show how it works. And I think that's going to start again here soon in the next 2 months with brand new, never before seen or heard of characters. I cannot wait. I mean, again, it's my favorite game of all time. I love designing custom scripts for this game and everything. I mean, right now, Levi and I are making like our own characters and just trying to balance that kind of stuff. I love this game, and I want to see more. I want to see more expansions.
Well, there's nothing worse than new content for your favorite game of all time. It's just a bummer.
Right? I can attest to how much Dan likes this game. We're trying to help him move in. Like, we got to get the TV hooked up so we can start streaming Blood on the Clocktower while we're moving everything in.
That was a joke, but then we did it anyway.
Yeah.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So, yeah, who saw that coming, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah. No, good job, guys. That was a good list.
That was
pretty good. I mean, nobody crossed over with me, so you all failed.
Well, I
There was
feel
top 10
like
games I wouldn't
that's
expect.
backwards.
It's more of a you problem.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, no, this was awesome. This was a ton of fun. And I like these lists sometimes because it gives us an opportunity to talk about games that we just want to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, we never wait, what game again?
Yeah, or, games that you love that maybe nobody's heard of, right? Like Korra, I mean, things like that.
Glow.
Glow, right? I mean, exactly. Perfect examples. Leglo.
Leglo.
But
that movie Luce or Lucy. I can't remember what it is.
I don't speak. I don't
Lucy.
speak. I don't
Lucy?
speak Spanish.
Well, because in Spanish, Luce, is light. And so it's a glow. I think they call it Luce. And so I think I remember what the French one. I think it might be like Luze
I
or
studied
something.
Spanish, not French.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Isn't Lux from France? Like when you see,
Oh, is that what it is?
I think it is.
Might be Luxe.
Lux.
Like the Luxe, I think is a form of the
Yeah,
French.
deluxe.
Anyway,
That's why it's blinging, right? Because it's got that shine to it. It's
That could be legit. I don't know.
It's not.
I used to know so much French, and my brain just can't hold on to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
The romantic languages do share a lot of things in common, though. So if you actually speak Spanish pretty fluently, I'd say you could read French well, because French is the weirdest one, in my opinion. But like Italian specifically, you're like, oh, I kind of.
My Viking friend can read it really well.
Yeah, he's like really. He's like
Lumiere.
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 Your accent's atrocious, but
Yeah.
yes.
Well, it's Beauty and
Way
the
to be,
Beast.
Mr. Judgy.
It's Beauty and the Beast.
It's a Southern France
Yeah.
accent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's more like
It's a
Baton
Western.
Rouge.
It's a Western France, like a
Yeah,
Indiana.
La
French.
Lumiere.
So like lumens.
All right.
Sure.
Awesome list, guys. That was a ton of fun. Thank you, Spencer, for being here today. I mean, Sam, for being here today.
Spencer, I love you in spirit.
In spirit only, though.
Don't worry, he's not watching.
Ouch, dude.
Yeah, he's not.
That is accurate. We're 2 hours into a video he's not in. He's not watching.
Yes.
Hey, what games do you guys want expansions for that we didn't talk about? Because just look at your collection. You're like, I want that one and I want that one, right?
Yes.
Like, I will say it wasn't like easy to come up with this. Like I did sit and I went through my collection a couple times. I went through every game I had rated on BGG a couple times, and like I was like literally, I probably could have done like a top 15 maybe. Like it was harder than I thought it
I
was.
came up with
7 pretty easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say I came up with like
6,
5 or
7.
6 really fast, and then I was like, okay, now I got it.
Because those are your 5 or 6 probably go-to games or related. Like I love this game so much, but then you're like, or you used to play it a lot, and
Right.
then you haven't in a while, and you're like, oh, that one needs something.
This
else.
would get me back to the
This would
this
get it
game
back on
to
the table.
Exactly.
Right.
I am a big fan of like joke expansions. The problem is like what you were going in earlier.
Spider-Ham?
It's not exactly money efficient for a company to just be like, this is funny.
Barkham
right?
Horror. I've got
yeah.
both of those.
That's like
I've got
actually a
that.
really good
Spider-Ham for Marvel Champions.
Because like while I was making this list, I was trying to think of if I wanted a joke expansion also. Like this is almost like honorable mention, I guess, right? But if I wanted like joke expansions, what would I do? Like, and so like Bob was saying one in the car where we were talking about if just one had an expansion called like another one.
Another one.
Or something, right? Like that, like that'd be funny, and just add on to that game a little bit. One that I was thinking of was I genuinely could see this one happening. I think Green Team Wins should have an expansion called like Orange Team Rules, right, or something like that, and it just changes the rules, and like so maybe there's like modules or something where Bob had a couple things where he was talking about like if you like are on
you
the orange
finish
team
on the orange team and have the least
and
amount
at
of
the
points,
least points, then
you
you're
did the
like
worst.
then you
Orange
get
team
to
rules.
win or
Yeah.
something like that.
Golf
Like,
score.
so like just like funny things like that. Honestly, this one will never happen, but I think it would be hilarious if they did Hues and Cues After Dark and it was just white
But
and
great
black.
grayscale.
Yeah, a
Grayscale.
grayscale one. I think that would be hilarious.
I would play that game.
I
I
genuinely
will
would.
talk to the designer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I'm like, you should do grayscale.
Dude, I
That's
genuinely.
not Sean Fletcher too, is it?
No,
okay.
it's
Because I know he does much stuff for
I
the
think
app.
it's Scott. Oh, Bradley.
It wasn't a quiz. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, he's out of Iowa. So
Oh, okay.
You have 3 seconds.
I really was tempted to do a list of all games that already have
think it's
expansions and then just describe the expansions that already exist.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think that exists.
Scott
already.
Brady.
Yeah.
What?
Scott Brady, I think.
Oh, right on. Perfect. Shout out.
But
Though I know
yeah,
his wife better than I do know him. So
I'm a big fan of joke expansions. I know that they're probably not the easiest thing to do. You have to think of a funny joke, right? Which isn't easy, especially like game designers aren't comedians, right? So like to try to come up
He's
with a
saying
joke
you're not
for
funny,
yourself.
No, I'm not. But like to
no,
come up
no,
with a funny joke, then to be like, is it even worth it? You know, and like stuff like that. Like I get it, but I love them. So
I think
it's
Stonemeyer does that though. Every April Fool's Day, doesn't he?
Oh yeah,
Well,
he
they
comes
come
out
up
with
Like
with
some
the
of jokes.
chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
That or a joke, and then he's like, well, actually, I guess we'll do that.
Well, that happened with the Arkham Horror LCG where they did Barkham Horror and it was like all animal themed.
Everybody
And-
wanted it.
Yeah, and I bought it.
Yeah, and it was
You
like
know.
a joke until it wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
well, as long as you do like a limited run, sometimes,
Spider
and
Ham
people
for Marvel
know that, it's
Champions.
fine.
I was like, I'm like, I'm ordering this, and if they take my money, that means I'm getting it. You know what I mean?
we thought about doing like Cult of the Deep Fried Chicken
Oh,
or
nice.
something like that.
Sounds delicious.
I am hungry.
Or
now.
like I had another game that was supposed to be
me a
like a kid version called instead of Cult of the Deep, it's Cult of Friendship. So instead of
Nice.
stabbing people, like you do the opposite. So instead of losing life, you gain like
gaining.
confidence.
Yeah.
So instead of stabbing someone, you give them hugs.
It would be
I'm
my
filling your
first
bucket.
my first cult.
Yeah.
first cult. Oh,
teach,
yeah.
teach it to your kids.
My little cult.
Yeah, we decided probably against that one.
for now. So anyway, not to drag that out. I just didn't think anyone had any honorable mentions, so I tagged that on.
No, yeah, you're right. I didn't really have any, but that was fun. That was fun.
fun.
Good list, guys.
Yeah.
Good list. Tons of fun. Sam, thank you for being here and
This
doing
was
this
fun.
list with us.
Yay.
Yeah, it kind of makes you want to do it more, right?
It does
You
actually.
should come on like a live stream with.
I should
us
drive
on
10
a-
hours more
on a
often.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
should. Just on a lark. But we at least try to make it worth your time. You know,
No, it's
as he
enjoyable.
as he blows through town for bigger, shinier
fish. Yeah.
shows. But that's okay. We love him. 'cause
No
he
one's
came here
bigger than
first.
my heart than you guys.
He came here first. That's what matters. He
Yay.
came here first.
El Primero.
What was the game that was on Bob's list like 7 times? Forges of
Oh god.
Quacks.
Forge of Quackenshire.
Yeah, what was that called? Is it good?
Crowshire.
Yeah, Crowshire.
You guys crack me up.
It's a
Yeah,
murder
that was a great joke.
murder of. Well, it'd have been better if Bob had like picked it up quicker.
I would have.
We actually
don't
thought
know.
about a game called Murder in Ravenshire.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
All about it. That's the werewolf version. So there's a murder in
Ooh,
Ravenshire,
yeah.
and so now you have all these roles.
But everybody has to dress up as a anthropomorphic animal.
We don't need to get the furries involved.
Okay.
Not that there's
We
anything.
thought
wrong
about like were crows.
with- Oh, werecrows.
Were crows.
Wow.
Get it?
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's do it.
Stick with the badgers, though. Badgers.
Badges.
We don't need no stinking.
That'd be like the
badgers.
policeman.
Yeah,
Badgers.
right.
Yeah.
The badgers.
Show your badgers. There's got a whole
Yeah.
cage of them right
There
here.
you go.
I got him.
I got him.
Gotta let them come in, man. All right, guys. For the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
And I am Sam.
Yay! We'll see you next time.